like I was saying, bro, this currency, Ujo L out of Canada, most people call this actually Canaanland, and he's the author of many books. What I want him to do is, Ujo, if you could, brother, just give us a brief perspective of like this Moorish history on us, you know, not being black. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
And us being Moors and how that ties into what's going on today as far as, you know, the dealing with the police and how they can assume authority over us based on our status.
Right. And what you could do too is they got they're taking notes and stuff over there.
So what?
They're taking notes over there.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Unmuted. So the whole idea of us being black people from a law perspective, calling yourself black lets you fall under the category of civiliter mortuus. So civiliter mortuus is CIVILITER. CIVILITER, mortuus, MORTUUS. MORTUUS. So civiliter mortuus means civilly dead, dead in the view of the law, the condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. Civiliter mortuus. Civilly dead, dead in the view of the law, the condition of one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in the law. So when you see so-called black people receive certain treatment from people that they would consider to say racist, prejudice, or whatever, right? The reason why those people treat so-called black people like that is because they know that black people are civiliter mortuus. They know that black people are civilly dead. They're dead in the view of the law. The condition of black people is one who has lost his civil rights. So once you lose your civil rights, that means there's no more rights for you to get, because you have these quote-unquote civil rights that in the 1800s the Supreme Court ruled that the Civil Rights Act was unconstitutional in the 1800s. So how is it in 2017 these so-called people who call themselves black leaders are still pushing for their people to have their civil rights respected, when one, civil rights have been unconstitutional, which means that there's no law that's going to stand up for civil rights. Any true law that you put next to civil rights is going to beat civil rights every time. So one, civil rights is unconstitutional since the 1800s. Since before we were born, civil rights was unconstitutional, right? So that's one strike. Lack of civil rights. No civil rights apply to people who classify themselves as black. Being that they're civilly dead, dead in the view of the law, this is why Noble Drew Ali told Moors that black, according to science, means death. Black, according to science, means death, because black means that you're civilly dead when you look at it from a law perspective. So what you want to do is make sure that your view is always from a law perspective. And once your view of everything is from a law perspective, then you realize who's playing with you, who's serious with you. So majority of our people in North America, they have this thing about the name that they have came from the slave master. Slave master put them in chains. That's why we got European names or whatever. Now, if right, they were white and they were slaves, exactly. Right. This idea of us having this name that's not our name would mean that we're willing participants in slavery, because we know that that's not our name, but we never did anything about it. None of the leaders, well, maybe except the Hebrew Israelites, and the Nation of Islam actually changed the name in some way, shape, or form, right? So when we say that we're Moors, what we're doing is we're tying ourselves back to having the name of the people for the landmass that we're on. So when we say that we're not black, from a law perspective, we're saying we're not civiliter mortuus. So if we're not civiliter mortuus, then there has to be something that we are in order to make the claim, right? So the claim that we make, saying that we're Moor instead of civiliter mortuus or black, falls under the term called impropria persona. And impropria persona is in P-R-O-P-R-I-A, persona, P-E-R-S-O-N-A. Impropria persona.
Hey, Brother Kujo.
Yeah, more.
As you're spelling it, I'm showing them in the law book, like what you're saying.
Right. All right. Impropria persona, in one's own proper person. It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in propria persona, because if pleaded by an attorney, they admit the jurisdiction, as an attorney is an officer of the court, and he is presumed to plead after having obtained leave which admits the jurisdiction. So it might sound confusing, but let's put it in context. So you have a boy or sister or whatever like that gets in trouble. First thing they do is they go hire a lawyer, right? First thing they do is go hire a lawyer. When you hire a lawyer, what you're saying to the court is that you are not competent enough to handle your own affairs, so you had to go hire somebody to handle your affairs for you. If a Moor goes to court, they don't hire a lawyer. The Moor is going to do the research, the Moor is going to do the paperwork, the Moor is going to do the same things that a lawyer would do, but he would do it for himself, because he's working for the court directly. The lawyer is working for the court. You, the individual, is now giving all this information to this person who you paid $5,000, $2,000, whatever retainer, and then they're supposed to go in and get you off. Most of the time, they go in, get you a deal, and you still have to do time, even though you paid the $5,000. Right? So hiring a lawyer is really a money grab. Because these people know that because majority of us are the ones who hire lawyers or whatever, these people know that we don't know law. That's why they always push their mercenary whoever's on us, so-called police. Because they know that we're going to give the funds right back to them. Whether it's drug money, whether it's ball money, whether it's movie made $1 million money, all they have to do is put a highwayman on us, and they're going to get some of that money back by us hiring a lawyer. Automatic. It's an automatic money grab. Just like put a yellow thing on somebody's car, and they're just going to go pay it. It's an automatic money grab. So when you're in propria persona, you're basically telling the court that they don't have any jurisdiction over your body, right? They can't make a claim on your body, right? It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in propria persona. So go back to your boy or your sister that got in trouble and hired a lawyer. They're going to be standing next to the lawyer, but they're going to be mute. They can't talk. Only the lawyer can talk. And the only time they can talk is if the lawyer says talk. Right? Pleas must be pled in propria persona. So whether you're saying I'm guilty, I'm innocent, no contest or whatever, your plea should be done by yourself. Once your plea is not done by yourself, then that means you're quote unquote a minority. And if you're a quote unquote minority, that means you have to have an adult to handle your affairs, which is what the lawyer is. Which is why they always call our people minorities and nobody else. Even though they look dark as us, they never call them minority. They only call people in the hood, people on the block, people in the ghetto, section 8, whatever like that. Only those people they call minorities. Only the people who have dark skin that don't know who they are, call themselves black, African, call themselves whatever they want to make up. These are the only people in the world that are classified as minority. Everybody else is quote unquote in propria persona, or they're in their proper person. They're in their national standing, right? Because if pleaded by an attorney, so if an attorney pleads for you, or if you hire an attorney, then that means that the court now has jurisdiction in your matters. Whereas with a Moor, you don't want the court to have jurisdiction in your matters. Because by the court having jurisdiction in the matters, that means that they can use what's known as color of law to violate your rights. But remember, as a quote-unquote black person, if your status is civil liter mortuus, you have no rights. Rights are off the table. So when you go in court as a black person, you're not even talking about rights or law or nothing like that. All they're talking about is how much finance could we extract from your pockets? How much finance could we extract from your account? Matter of fact, you don't got nothing? All right, well, call your mom. Let her put the house up and we'll let you go. Let her put up $5,000 and we'll let you go. These are all the things that they have put in place so that our people stay poor and they stay rich. Our people can't go vacation, but they go on vacation with the fine money they got from your mom because you didn't want to be Moor, you want to be dumb nigger, hang out with these clowns over here. And now she's putting up her house to try to get you off of something where if you knew the law, you tell her, forget the lawyer, save your $5,000, don't worry mom, I got this. And you go in there and you handle whatever it is you got to handle. But it comes back to, as blacks, that's not even where our mindset is. Our black immediately call the slave master. Call the slave master, here's $5,000, take care of my affairs. Slave master will come in, say his little rah 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 for you. You know what I mean? Instead of 5 years, you get 2 years, you're happy, and that's that. When there should be no time. Because these people who are claiming to be judges and courts and lawyers and whatever else they're claiming to be, they are actually part of foreign corporations. They are not part of government. They are not part of anything having to do with law or anything like that. Right? Right? They have nothing to do with that. And just like we're showing, just like Brother Abdullah showed in that book, Moors and Masonry, that the people who are in power actually took your position. And they have you thinking that your position is to be, came over here on slave ship or black guy or whatever. While they're pretending to be you in secret and ruling the world with your fezan, ruling the world with your language, ruling the world with your science, ruling the world with everything that you gave them, which goes back to that first book that you showed with the white slaves and whatever else, right? That they know who the rulers are, they know who the real minorities are. And all they did was change places with us. So, like for example, we had this is years ago when we used to do the little programs and stuff like this. You know what I mean? We get a little community center, get some food, and tell all the little brothers, come on, yo, and let's go get some knowledge or whatever. And you know what I mean? Some of them came, got something out of it. Some of them they're like, forget this, we don't want this. We're about to get this money. So maybe about 7-8 years ago, I was on the bus. Dude comes on the bus, yo, what's up, blah, blah, blah. You can't remember me? Sorry. Yeah, man, you know what I mean? I think his name was Kareem. His name was Kareem. He's telling me that, oh yeah, yo, you know what I mean? I have a dance group now and all that stuff, and you know what I mean? We're taking them all over the place, to the States, taking them all over. You know what I mean? Doing dance competitions and whatever like that. They're killing people. You know what I mean? So, you know, things are doing good for you. Yeah, only now. Because, you know what I mean? I just came off 5-year bid or whatever. Because I didn't listen to what you guys were talking about in your little program. I was one of those guys telling you guys, forget what y'all are talking about. Y'all talking crazy. He goes, robs a bank or something, some madness like that. Gets caught up, 5-year sentence. While he's in there, while he's inside the place, bumps into an elder guy who's in there who knows me from being around the way doing the programs. Had that guy as his cellmate, and the same info that he neglected to deal with for, you know what I mean, getting him caught up in madness, the same info he was stuck having to deal with, no choice, no options, whatever, in a cell for 5 years. Came out and he said, I think he was out maybe about a year. And he was like, yo, I've been looking for you for a year to tell you, like, what you guys were on, that could really save people, you know what I mean? Thanks, and keep doing what you're doing, whatever. So, you know what I mean? Saying all that to say, you know, don't take it like, you know, somebody trying to tell y'all what to do, or, you know what I mean? We know something, you don't know nothing, or whatever like that. Just be a sponge and just absorb the info. Just be a sponge and take all the info in. Because, trust me, our people don't die because of guns. Our people don't die because police hate them. Our people don't die because of KKK. Our people don't die because racist police keep shooting them or whatever like that. Our people don't die because they're on welfare or whatever like that. Our people don't die because of AIDS, sickle cell, cancer, whatever. Our people die because they lack information. Our people die because they have no reference points. So you're looking at little brothers, even with programs that we're doing right now. Like, there's little brothers out there really thinking that they're gonna go on a date and they're hitting first night. Like, they don't even have no morals to say, well, you know, if she hits on the first night, then maybe she's not really the one that I should be hitting or whatever. Because if she hit me on the first night, how much the other dude she hit on the first night? They're not even there in their mindset. So once you get the right information, then you start acting right. You have wrong information, people drinking scissor and e-pills and putting lines in their weed and smoking K2 and whatever like that, then you're going to have warped actions. You're going to have people doing crazy stuff out here. That doesn't even make sense. So don't be overwhelmed with the information and all that. Recognize that the mind is a reservoir for intellect. And that is vast. Like there's no limit to what you can put in the mind. It's all about what are you putting in there. Because there's a saying, as a man thinketh, so is he. So as an individual thinks, that's what they become. And then I think Nas said it, that, you know, oh no, it was Black Dot that said it. If you have 9 friends that are broke, you're probably going to be number 10. If that's your friends. Right? Because, you know, misery loves company. Right? Heartache and racism and anger and all that stuff breeds those type of environments, those type of people. Positive thoughts and positive energy and good people breed those type of situations. And yeah, it's crazy out here because the influence is the influence to go the way of the disagreeable forces is easy. The way toward righteousness is, you know, reading books like these that, you know, certain people see this and they give up their birthright just because they seen a book this big. Right? But yeah, so that's a rough take with regard to the whole status thing with the black. So if you know that you're more, you don't want anybody to refer you as black. If somebody says that you're black, make sure you correct them. Because if you let them, if that slides, then everything after that is going to slide. Right? If you let, well, you know, the black guys and whatever like that, if that slips, then police baton could slip, taser could slip, gun could go off, you know what I mean? Car could run over you, whatever, because black people have no rights. And once you have no rights, then nobody is bound to respect you or even care if something happens, which is why nobody respects our people, and which is why when stuff happens to them, nobody cares. It's just like, oh, you know, whatever. Right? But let somebody else that doesn't call themselves a color get shot up by police, see what happens. Guarantee somebody's going to jail. Guarantee they're going to jail without pay. Guarantee there's going to be some type of inquiry into why this was done and was this, you know what I mean, quote unquote officer drunk on the job, was he on pills, did he have enough sleep, whatever like that. Guarantee there's going to be some type of payout immediately so that this doesn't go to court or so that this doesn't go public. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a lot of factors for our people to consider if they want to correct the things that's happening to them. Unfortunately, their leaders haven't taught them like what we're talking about. So our people are in the dark. And we're talking all the leaders across the board. If they call you black ever in your life, they're probably working for the other side. If they call you, you came over here on a slave ship, and that, you know, some brothers today, like 4 brothers in that room. If a European comes down in the basement right now talking about you guys going on the slave ship, guarantee you guys aren't just going just because he said so and he has a whip. Guaranteed there's going to be fighting.
Say that again?
if European came to where you are right now, kicked the door in, and said, "You guys are going on the slave. We got the slave ship right over there right now. Let's go." You guys aren't going willingly.
We're not going.
Like, right? So,
No.
so there's no way that could have happened to our ancestors, because they were bigger than us. Right? They were bigger than us. Right? I want to throw out too, if there's any questions, you can just shoot. If anybody got questions, just shoot them questions up.
Hold on, brother.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't wait till you leave and then be asking me.
or what you could do.
Go ahead.
Or no, I was gonna say, or what you could do, you could just ask the questions that they ask you. Since they want to play like they're gonna.
No. They want to know about the so-called Europeans, where it comes from.
All right. Right.
That and just touch on the religion part. And that's pretty much like most people's problem.
Right.
Black, so-called white man, then Jesus freak stuff.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. With regard to the origin of the European, first thing you have to recognize is that every living being comes out of the Moorish or the African woman's womb. Right? Everything living on the planet that's human came, the original womb that it came out of, when you trace everybody back, is going right back to this ancient foremother that brought all of us here. The brother just showed the book Clock of Destiny by C.M. Bay. You can also go on YouTube and you can watch a video called Human Artificial by Bobby Hemmett. So I can tell you.
Say that name one more time. The last name I heard, Human Artificial, by who?
Bobby Hemmett.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So if you just watch that, that'll give you the perspective as far as where they came from and all that, because just talking about it like this won't do it justice. You watch that first, and that'll let you know what's up with regard to them. And remember that because Europeans usually get into their feelings when you start talking about this topic. So don't use this as a throw it in their face or whatever like that type of perspective, right? Yes, Yakub's experiment, right? Don't look at it like we got something up on them because that's who they are and we are who we are. We created them, right? Because we had to be in a very low place to manifest that being on the earth plane, right? You know, we weren't in our higher divine selves. We started slipping. We started tripping with the power. And because we started tripping with the power, once we started playing around with the power, right? Then we got lawless. It's no different than everybody who made it out of the streets is because the first time they held a gun, they didn't want that power. Anybody who got out, anybody who made it out, they realized how low they could go in that realm of quote unquote the streets. And they were very particular about their movements. Right? Ones who didn't make it out, were loose. Like what? Like guy who was chilling at the whatever got shot up, he was loose. Cause ain't no way you're chilling if somebody's on your head like that. No way. No way you got time to, you know what I mean, make sure you look good and stuff like that if dudes want your head. Right? So the best thing, like Drew Ali said, is you know, don't grab hold of the gospel plow. You know, if you don't have intentions of holding on. You know, it's like what they say, don't jump on the bull if you're planning on jumping off, because you're gonna have problems getting out of the arena with the bull chasing you. Right? So you might as well don't even step on the court if you don't know how to do left hand layup, because you're gonna get dunked on, something's gonna happen. It's not gonna make you look good. You know what I mean? So always be in the place of making sure you know certain things. You know what I mean? Making sure that you're sure before, because trust me, you say start talking about Europeans are created and stuff like that to certain Europeans, like they know the history, and they'll check you on what you say you know. And if you don't know, if you just, you know, you heard something in a video, hey, I'm going to say this to this European, trust me, they're going to come back on you with something, right, that is going to make you have to check yourself, right? Because Europeans never want to be the ones to blame or whatever. You know what I mean? You always have to be responsible for their whatever. You know what I mean? Like think about it like, you know, they did all this stuff during slavery, but they're still living like they never did nothing. And, you know what I mean? We do all this devilish stuff, and only devil stuff follows us. How come the Europeans doing devilish stuff, but they don't have no issues, and we do devilish stuff, and we're going to the hell below the hell, right? It's because of something called karmic debt. So Europeans know that if they can get our people to believe that it's a white man that did something to them instead of a European, then the European's safe, because European knows that there's no such thing as a white man, and these people are going to be chasing their tail forever. If European knows that we have that much fear for the white man, right? The next thing to do is make that thing that you fear your God. So this is why when you go to all these churches with dark-skinned people in there, there's a European on the wall. When the scriptures itself tells you that Jesus had hair like wool and skin like burnt brass, like it was burnt in an oven. Clearly that's not European. If your skin's like burnt brass, clearly that's not a European. So why do they have this imposter on these walls in their house or whatever like that? Because they've been trained by the European to fear the European. They've been trained. Our people have been, you know, like they're gonna shoot a brother in his face because he stepped on their sneakers. Right? Brother walked down the wrong side of the street that belongs to the other guy, and he's gonna shoot dude in his face. But let these Europeans go in their pockets to take their money and stuff like that, and you know what I mean? You know, because we know dudes personally. We know dudes personally standing on the block, but because he's the man, you know what I mean, he gets kidnapped.
This happened yesterday.
Oh, word.
What you talking about happened yesterday to somebody we all know.
Oh, for real?
He got kidnapped by the people, you know, his people that looks just like him. He got kidnapped yesterday. You know?
Right. Like, right? They're gonna do all that. They'll never kidnap a highwayman who abused one of these little sisters out here. You know what I mean? Right? They got guns, just like they got guns. So how come The other guys who got guns, they're shooting back and forth with them or whatever like that. When it comes to these highwaymen, it's like all the thug stuff is out the window. You know what I mean? And again, it's not a promotion of violence. It's about look at our hypocrisy. You know what I mean? Let's look at ourselves. Right? We know that our people are mentally imbalanced. And because they're mentally imbalanced, they're going to do things that are not really normal. You know what I mean? They're going to do things that aren't civilized. They're going to call themselves black, which is an adjective, which black only describes. Somebody can't be black. If you got red shoes, those shoes aren't red. Pass my reds over there or whatever. It's shoes, right? Children are what people have, not kids. People call their children kids and then want to know how come the children act like animals. Well, you call them animals, so what do you want? You can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, you know, the white man's the devil, but then you have him on the wall praying to him. So then that would mean that you're worshiping the devil then. And then no wonder God doesn't mess with you. Why would God mess with you if you chill with the devil? And again, they openly say it out their mouth that the white man's the devil. But then they got him on their wall every Sunday, praying to him and her. And they don't realize that they're playing themselves. Right? Which again goes into the aspect of religion. So when you see you got a wall clock in there, an analog clock with the hands.
What was that?
You got an analog clock in there, a watch or something.
Alarm clock?
Yeah, like an analog clock with the hands on it.
Do I have one near me?
Yeah. Like or you don't got? All right. Well, okay. So when we're talking about religion, and we're talking about the disciples, the 12 disciples around Jesus. Everybody's familiar with the 12 disciples, right?
Right.
When you look at the clock with the hands on it, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples isn't some dudes that were around some Christ guy. The 12 disciples are the signs of the zodiac. Right? As above, so below. Right? That's what it is all the time. Every day, all day. As above, so below. Right? Again, which goes back to the whole thing again about why everything is mental. Why it's all about mind. It's all about mind. Right? It's all about mind. Okay? Once you get your mind right, the body is going to follow. That's why when you, and again, we're still talking religion, right? When you go to, if you go to the radio and you hear, and there's a station that has an hour show, and there's only 10 songs in rotation for the hour, right? And every song is getting played. Every song in the 10-song rotation is getting played 20 times in the hour. You know that people are programming people, right? If you go to church and only on Sundays is when you open your Bible. Any other day you don't open your Bible. But only Sundays when pastor's there to decipher the Bible for you because he's the master of the Bible. If that's the only time that you're reading your Bible, you're probably getting brainwashed. Right? Even the Bible, even the Holy Book. The Holy Book is really a book about sun worship. It's really a book about astrology. A good example is when they talk about Moses and fleeing somewhere with somebody, or if they talk about somebody in the wilderness for days and nights and all that stuff. It's all what they would say metaphysical or mystical. It's not physical things. So when they talk about Jesus, they're not talking about a man, right? They're talking about a concept. When they talk about the devil, they're not talking about some under the ground whatever with a pitchfork and a tail or whatever like that. They're talking about man. Man, when he does not be him God self, he's the devil. When man is tired of being the devil, then he raises to his God self. And every time you try to get to your God self, there's going to be a challenge there for you to not make it. Every time you reach the pinnacle of godhood, there's always going to be something there to try to tear you down. Because the quote-unquote black man is not supposed to have knowledge of self. Right? The quote-unquote black man is not supposed to know who he is and where he comes from and have respect for his women and all that. This is why, again, that you say that you're Moor. Because they respect Moors to the point where they expect you to treat your women right. They respect Moors to the point where they expect you to have knowledge of self. They expect you to not classify yourself as black, Negro, colored, African, came over here on a slave ship. They expect certain things when you have a Moorish mindset. And, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle because the clamps are getting tighter the younger the generation gets. So, if y'all know, Taj Tariq Bey, when Taj Tariq Bey was young in this information, they can go to the mayor and get a building for the Moors. No questions asked. They can go to the mayor and say, we're from the Moor Science Temple, we need a building. And the mayor's going to bring out his whatever stuff and tell them, pick what you want. Right? Like, it's not like that now. Because these people have clamped down relative to, our people waking up, because our people are waking up at such an alarming rate that it's making these people's system fall. And their system's falling every day. Their system's falling. Every day a little chunk of their system falls off. And then they get the duct tape, they try to put the cement back on there, but you're not going to do nothing. Duct tape's only going to hold cement for so long. Right? So this is where it comes into, with like what you're doing. Bringing these people together so that they can get some information to hopefully inspire them to want to free themselves. Because they know Jesus coming to free nobody. Ain't no Muhammad coming. There's no, mothership and all that type of stuff coming to save people and all that. That ain't going down. Either you're going to save yourself or you're going down when the B system goes down. It's that simple. And the best way that our people could save themselves is by getting knowledge. Right? The best way, getting knowledge. Making sure that you surround yourself with people who are on some type of higher frequency than just the regular stuff that we're used to. You know what I mean? The basketball, the entertainment, the music, the go here, go to this club, or go hang out, or go play video games, or whatever. There ain't nothing wrong with those stuff, but we have to check our priorities right now. because, you know, in the 80s, Public Enemy talked about fear of a black planet. Now that's something that's coming to a reality. You know what I mean? Which is why right now you have so much destroy the black man, whatever, with all this, you know what I mean? Dudes wearing skirts and spandex and dresses, and dudes wearing makeup and like fingernail polish and stuff like that. And these are the people that are supposed to be the role models for young men. These dudes sleeping with trannies and stuff like that is what the norm is. Like, it's the norm for a rapper guy to have a tranny girl, right? And then people aren't picking up on what's going on, and they stay supporting that. You supporting a dude with a tranny dude? Like, that's your favorite your favorite rapper guy likes tranny dudes, and then you're gonna go buy his albums. You know what I mean? That's crazy talk. You know what I mean? You know. But that's where it's at. So, you know, if like we say, if there isn't code of the streets now. If no code of the streets continues, then we could pretty much hang up everything. It's either the people are going, because you're not going to reform the streets now. It's either people are going to leave that life, or it's going to be their downfall. Just ask the 80% of whoever that's in prison right now doing 10, 15 years for some dimes and stupid stuff. Like, they're not even doing no time for something real. You know what I mean? They're doing time for a weed seed. You know what I mean? A dude, they found a seed in a dude's freaking ashtray in his car, and he has 5 years for a seed. Right? And again, you know, their system's falling. So, you know, the reason why they have so much of us in jail is because a quote-unquote cell is a battery. A cell is a battery. So the energy that we are inside those cells creates a battery that they can use for their B system. Because what is it that you got in prison? They're not just making license plates no more. They got prison people are doing telemarketing. Like, there's people who are in prison right now where they're collecting money, or they're making phone calls or whatever like that for multi-billion-dollar corporations. Right? Like the fam there is familiar with telemarketing. Like those calls that nobody wants to take. And it always come up unknown number, and then you answer the phone. Hi, this is Shirley. Give me 2 seconds of your time. Let me just tell you something or whatever. Them people. That's jail people. Right? So, and don't forget, those people are working for free. That's free labor that they're getting. And keep in mind, the percentage of people who's in there is our people. Which goes back again to the black status, which goes back to, again, to 14th and 15th Amendment, that if you are convicted of a crime, then they can treat you like a slave. Okay, and how much, and the percentage of people who are in prison are the people who classify themselves as slaves. Right? So if the percentage of people who are in prison are the ones that classify themselves as slaves, but then when you go to prison, you're classified as a slave, it sounds like these people had a plan and they knew exactly what they were doing from the time they created the prison. Because only the people, if we're looking at this as witchcraft and as magic, then only the people who classify themselves as slaves would be in those places called prisons. which is what it is right now, looking at the 80% population of prisons all across North America has our people in them. 80%. Even European quote unquote area prisons have mainly us in them.
Yeah, we're in one. Where we're at is like predominantly European. We're most people that ain't incarcerated.
Yeah. Yo, look at Texas and these places. Because remember what?
Even though we know the Klan ain't real or whatever, they was here marching at the courthouse.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And the policy enforcers had the guns on the public.
Right.
Protecting the Klan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right, because you know when the hood comes off, it's the mayor, it's the lawyer for the prosecutor for the state, right? It's the principal of the school, right? It's the freaking police chief, the fire chief, right? The governor of whoever, secretary of state, attorney general. Those are the people who's under the Klan's hood. So yeah. The police are gonna protect them because that's their crew.
Right.
You know? Right? And again, it comes back to that thing, like our people don't get it. So if the police are gonna protect the Klan, then why is anybody who's quote unquote Asiatic dialing 911?
Their first thing is they gotta survive. This is what they tell me.
Yeah.
They gotta work.
Right. Right. You know, and again, you know, when we think, you know, they gotta work, right? They got you know, 2 or 3 children or something like that, you know, house, whatever, right? Okay, well, my granddad had to work, but he had 12 children. And he's the only one that worked in the house. So something's definitely wrong right now. If these people are talking about, man, I gotta work or whatever.
Right.
Right? So you gotta work, you got 2 children and a house payment or whatever like that, that's it. But granddad had 12 children. Oh, well, he was Aboriginal indigenous to the land. So he didn't have a mortgage. He was Aboriginal indigenous to the land, so he didn't have to pay taxes.
Right.
Right? Which is what all these people are working for. They're not working to live, they're working to pay bills. Right? They're straight working to pay bills. If you're working to pay bills, it's not worth working. Right? You should be working to live. You should be working because you love to do that. You know what I mean? If you're getting up every morning like, God damn, I gotta go to this place or whatever, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? Try to find something that you like to do. Work at that. You know what I mean? What any other questions going on over there?
They sit here in the maze twirling their hair.
At least they're doing that.
Right. They ain't sleeping nothing. Like I said, my son, he 18. He saying he know most of this already. Like it's like, how can I say it? You know the youth, man. If they get it, it's better more so than people my age or so your age.
Most definite. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're fearless. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
All they need is that right knowledge. I'm not saying I can be arrogant like you said or like we're better than them. No, just know how to protect yourself.
Right.
Right. And I know they got questions. It's just, you know.
Yeah. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. You know what I mean? But you know, it starts somewhere. You know what I mean? It starts somewhere. And you know, again, like honors to you for putting them on to something. You know what I mean? Because they could be on some not knowing all of this already. You know what I'm saying? So, it's good to know, like, and we're interacting with it more too, where you know, um, I guess the whole judgmental aspect that, you know, all these youth, they don't know, they're misguided and and then you talk to them and they're talking about, they're listening to Gangstar and Too Short, and you know what I mean, like they're listening to, they don't even listen to these dudes that's out right now. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them at least even, you know, they're even of the mindset of, well, I only listen to it for the beats, or, you know what I'm saying? Like these people have no influence on them whatsoever, right? Um, but, you know, it's really the people around us, you know what I mean, that really influence us in the wrong way. You know what I mean? It's not the music and it's not the whatever. It's that is your boy who, you know what I mean, you're gonna hear whatever he's saying. Just because that's your boy and y'all been through whatever together and all that, and then, you know, next thing you realize you're you know, facing some highwayman over some BS for no reason, you know. Um, but there's no wrong with them. You know what I mean? I think the millennial generation, they just gotta learn from their experience. You know, like that's how they'll know what's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you know, our generation had to learn from going through the fire. You know what I mean? Us going through the fire and them seeing us make through the fire makes them now coming through. They're not even feeling fire when they're going through. You know what I mean? It's like um, it's like the roach that always revamps itself, never dies. You know what I mean? It always adapts to its current situation. You know what I mean? You know, if a meteor hit the planet, guaranteed, roaches are gonna find somewhere to go where that doesn't bother them. You know what I mean? And they'll emerge when the time is right. And these young people have that type of perseverance. But it's like you're saying, once we get them in the right mind frame, once we get them at least on the information that it's interesting to them, you know, which is why, you know, we give honors to Abdullah Bey and the work that he's doing with the Moors and Masonry, because the young people are on that Masonry, Illuminati and all that stuff. You know, that's trendy. That's trendy topic. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for them to realize that, well, you know, it's not really a European thing. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, what you're seeing is really not what it's about. How they're presenting it is really not what it is. You know what I mean? That eye with the pyramid is really a 7 in a circle when you turn it upside down, which goes back to the Moors. You know what I mean? That G in the compass is actually a 7 in the compass. It's not really a G. It's really a 7, right? Because G is the 7th letter. Right, and then 7 goes back because that's the number of the Moors. That's why Ali had a 7 on the cover of the Quran, because the 7 is relative to Moors. You know what I mean? Right? So it's been all around us. It's been there for us. We just didn't really know what we're looking at. You know what I mean? Just like with the flag behind you, or the flag behind me, right? You know, that 5-point star upside down is your star. That's not some occult whatever. That's your star they put upside down and then they said it's occult or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's really your star. There's no, you know, like people say, oh, that's the Satan star, or that's the demonic star, or whatever, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's not a flag.
Exactly.
Right? That's a banner, right?
Right. Behind you is a flag. That thing on the phone is a banner.
Over 10,000 years old.
Right? And then remember they call it Star Spangled Banner.
Right, in the song.
So they're letting you know that it's not a flag. You know what I mean? So if it's not a flag, then what is it? Yeah, and what is it a banner of? You know what I'm saying? So everything, and then keep in mind that the white on that banner, the white represents the European nations, right? You already know the 5-point star goes back to that flag behind you, and then you know that the red goes back to that flag behind you. Right? You know what I mean? Right? It's all our science, and a little piece by piece we'll claim everything back. You know what I mean, little bit by little bit we'll get everything back. But I guarantee you that once y'all start studying and start going into this information for yourself, because of you being the behind generations, you're gonna pick up different stuff that we didn't pick up. They're gonna pick up stuff that we missed. That when they read it and they figure out what it is, it's on them. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna have this whole different mindset with this whole different information that they're looking at from a totally different perspective that we never even fathom that we can see it from this perspective. You know what I mean? So honors to those brothers out there, and I'm gonna get your just shoot me a text with the mailing location out there, so I could send you some DVDs and stuff. Send a little package for them brothers out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Send a little package out so they could be inspired. You know, I don't know if you saw the class with the sister that the sister heard about a younger sister in the class, and you know, just bought the sister a gift. You know what I mean? Just because she's a younger sister, just to inspire her to keep on the path. You know what I mean? As discouraging as it might look, or as, you know, well, this ain't working, or how it's taking so long, where's the Morris Hospital and all that stuff. Like, don't worry, stuff's coming. You know, just persevere for right now. You know. And again too, like, you know, as stuff comes up, you know what I mean, just let me know, and we could, you know what I mean, we can set this up, since we got the Skype running now. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna get you squared away, man. I know it's time, you know. Time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we already know that this is just what has to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like, we already know. Yeah. So you know, we'll organize what we gotta organize. You know what I'm saying? You know, to keep the ball rolling. But yeah, man, it's real. It was real. Straight.
Hey, Cujo, how honest to you, man. Like, I appreciate it. Once they get into it, they're gonna realize how privy they were today.
Yeah. It's not registering yet. Yeah.
It's not every day that you sit and get to talk and answer grand sheet, anything you want to ask. They don't know the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. It'll hit them. Straight up. Yeah, yo. And also too, the class email. You know what I mean? Just give them the class email, so if something comes to them, you know what I mean, they want to remain anonymous or whatever, they could just shoot the email with their questions, and we'll just answer it in class or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll be listening on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to the blog talk.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too, you know what I mean? Like, we have to also allow them their space. You know what I mean? Their youth space. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was like back in the day, we used to have this elder that if he sees you, you're getting talked to for 2 hours. Like, it doesn't matter where you're going or whatever. You know what I mean? If he sees you and he traps you, like, you're getting to talk. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, wanting to leave and can't leave and all that. You know what I mean? Girl waiting and all that stuff, and this dude's trying to drop some stuff or whatever. But, you know, I'm 42 now, and I'm still talking about it. That was like 15, 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it doesn't hit us right away, but when it hits, and we realize what it is that we got, it's gonna hit for sure. Straight.
Like I said, bro, I hope to do this again soon, like real soon.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as I end this, you know, the conversation's gonna be Like I said, man, like honestly, man.
Yo, thank you, man. Thank you, yo. And peace and love to the fam, to the Moors there. You know what I mean? Yeah, yo, just.
We out here.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. We got this, boy. All right, fam.
I'm gonna shoot you that email with the address, with the mailing location.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll get some stuff out to you. I'm gonna try to send it out in the week.
Okay. No problem.
All right, Morris.
Peace and love.
And conscious means that you're conscious of what's going on in this world. You're fully aware and awake to what's going on in this world. That's what conscious rap means. So if you got conscious rap, that means you got unconscious rap. That means you got motherfuckers that's unconscious rapping. That means they sleeping. They still under the spell of Leviathan. They still under the spell of Kingu.
Call me brother man, I'm not the rubber man. Though I keep my natties in affairs wrapped with some rubber bands. Burning out the Ku Klux Klan and Wizard Grand Dairy Queen misters. Just butts of guns I'm giving, trying to make more sovereign citizens. These minions help kill your prophet, stole your treasury millions. You heard it from your brother man, not a smother sellout. Sess Links and K2 Kush days keep me read out. I got the knowledge to make these silly hoes question the pimpin' directors of music videos. Gaylords and purses with strap-on boots with heels. Too much graphic art faces, boobs are not real. Since MCM and Troop, they use Timberland boots to get us all caught up in fashion, not the simple men roots. Got our people on dogmatic, not metaphysic. Exoteric, not esoteric is how you missed it. So out of it you couldn't feel the natural mystic blowing through the air like it didn't give a shit. I hear the dirty Moors dissing, cause I said profanities. A lot of these grand sheiks need to take off the panties. Pull the thong out your crack vest wearing bitch ass nigga. Return to where the prophet found you, negro ass nigga.
It's time to choose a side. You either positive or you negative. You either evil or you good. You understand what I'm saying? Choose a side, nigga. I know what side I'm on.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Freedom.
And justice.
Allah
is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Juali. Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, order to be read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical, agitating speeches while at their work, in their homes, or on the public streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any members or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Juali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is therefore sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali.
Islam.
To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is not on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Jew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against you, the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Islam. So, just to put it out for the Moors out there, don't forget, August 27th, Canaanland Moors 3rd annual barbecue. Going to be down at Hyde Park, lot number 22. Yeah, lot number 22. 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we're open to Moors bringing their own veggie burgers, veggie dogs, veggie related food items, right? We don't want any carcasses, right? No carcasses allowed, pieces. We just want veggie, vegan, and that's it, right? So that's August 27th. August 27, 2017, 12 o'clock, Hyde Park, Canaanland Moors Barbecue. We also want to put on the record again the credit union, and this is more so for people who have doubt in what it is the Moors are about, what Moors should be about. If they have doubt as to, are the Moors recognized or whatever like that. So this is from the National Credit Union Administration. So you can look them up so you know who it is that, we're dealing with. Okay? Mr. Kenneth L., organizer. Dear Mr. L., thank you for your interest in chartering a new federal credit union. Right? Not a municipal credit union, not provincial credit union, not quasi de facto whatever credit union, a federal credit union. So automatically you know that this individual is dealing with people that are in a certain jurisdiction. So because of the things that they're doing as Moors in their jurisdiction, the same individual who's the organizer for the credit union, the city recognized him. Like the city came to him and said, Mr. L, we recognize certain things that you're doing in the community. We want to recognize you. Now this is a Moor, Moorish American, nationality card holder, whatever you want to call him. And the city of whatever, he didn't go apply for something from them. Because of his activity, they went to him. This is separate from the credit union.
No, I see that.
Nothing to do with the credit union.
Right.
The city said they recognize him.
Right.
Gave him whatever it is that they gave him in honor of the things that he's doing for the community of Virginia, surrounding jurisdiction. We received your request for approval of the preliminary field of membership for the proposed Home Health Care Federal Credit Union, which has been renamed to Divine Credit Union for Moorish Americans, Moorish Science Temple members, whatever. The common bond is based on the trade industry or profession serving the healthcare industry in the Virginia cities of Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Suffolk, and Newport News. If you agree with the wording, of your proposed credit union's field of membership, you can move forward with developing the remainder of your charter application, right? Which is where, they got through. He's more, which is where they got through to the point of him having the survey, right? Mr. L, congratulations on your field of membership approval. With this approval, your organization group is eligible to obtain free consultation services from blah, blah, blah. This letter provides information on these people and their services. OSCUI was established 2004, is committed to helping small credit unions to survive and thrive. So they, upon him being approved, he got hooked up, upon being approved, with people who support new credit unions or whatever, right? So you can take from that they're looking to assist in the long haul. This is not just, like how they say like how they have grant or whatever, and then they say, okay, well, we're going to give you 10 grand, they give you 10 grand, and then you don't hear from them ever again. Right? This is something that they're actually preparing the people who are creating this in order so that it can be fruitful. Because if you check, based on this, been doing research on credit unions or whatever like that, credit unions don't fail. Credit unions aren't like banks where they fail. Right? Nations with banks don't fail. As soon as the people realize that, they have a 401k or a savings, whatever like that, and they can't have access to it when they want, they'll just take their stuff out the bank. And then banks won't, they would need no banks. But people are going to do whatever they want with their finance for themselves, opposed to paying a fee every month to make this guy hold your $2,000.
You can't even touch it.
And you can't touch it, right? Yes, sir.
Is that, like, you see how we pay for our banks? I pay for banks now. Is that, like, I don't know, illegal? I don't know
Well,
what to say. I don't know.
There's
In your proper status.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
That with your own credit union, you can engage them without the BS of dealing with these other people who are going to make you go through the BS. But we don't recognize that card, and well, where's the Canadian number from the whatever? That has nothing to do with what we're dealing with, because we're talking about we have our own, right? We're talking about, you know, we have a direct, open lane to establish this how it is that we see fit. And the prerequisite for being part of this is that you better be Moorish national. We're not taking black guys who kind of want to be Moors and they're on the boat, on the fence or whatever like that. This is only for Moors. Just like Chinese bank, only Chinese people use China Bank, because they're the only ones that can look at the thing and read the language. Bank of India, you go in there, it's Indian language, no English in Indian bank. So if you don't speak Hindi, you're probably not going to be using that bank. So don't look at it like the Moors are, because the Moors are doing something now, now it's this threat to whatever. No, everybody does this. Steelworkers Union, they got a credit union. Electric Union, they got a credit union. Carpenters Union, they got credit union.
I don't even know credit union.
Where's the Black Laws are on there somewhere? Credit union.
And you're a national when you're in your proper status when your last name is changed.
You're in your proper status when you have the mindset
Yeah.
of a national,
But legally.
right? Lawfully,
Hopefully.
once the mindset changes, then the stuff out here is going to change. So let's say, for example, you have somebody who, they know that they're a Moor, but they say, well, my name is Jeffrey. You know about the Moors? Oh yeah, I know about the Moors, and I mean, whatever like that. You know, what's your name? Jeffrey. You a Moor? Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
So to not have the Moorish title means that it's not here yet. When you have the Moorish title, then automatically out here is it's gonna change, right? This is why we talk about peace, Mark. This is why we talk about making sure that people are studying, because it's really a mindset before anything else. Before L and B and putting the name attached to it, it's all about mindset first. Because once you have the correct mindset, automatically the things outside of you are going to change. The things that you perceive with your senses are going to change. But it has to be a mindset first. So, you know, and then you're going to hear people about, November is the deadline, you need to do something before November, and August things crashing, and if you're not a Moor now, you gotta go.
That's crazy.
That's getting people chicken with their head cut off running around. That's not serving anybody any good. You know what I mean? That person now is useless to themselves, because opposed to focusing on what they're supposed to be focusing on, they're focusing on panic. They're focusing on, oh my gosh, I gotta do this before whatever. They're gonna fill out some paper, send it in, oh yeah, now everything's good. And then they go back, a week after that, and then they're spelling mistakes all through this stuff, and you file this thing with all these mistakes on it, you might as well not have filed it, because you can't use that now. You're still gonna have to go do it again, right? So it's, and speaking about mindset, Brother Kenneth L., who started up the credit union, his mindset was the Moors need whatever. Not him. Not, oh, yeah, I have an idea, credit union. All right, well, I'm going to be the guy that all the Moors are going to look at now because I started the credit union, so no, that's not what this is about. You know what I mean? Because he knows that, you know, he knows that his children are going to need a credit union to go to. They're almost old enough to have bank accounts. Why make them use a bank account if they could have a Moorish credit union? When they're L's and B's, they're L's and B's and all that.
I was just watching a video about banks
Yeah.
before I came here, so I'm like,
Everything's right in tune. Right? That's how the universe works. Right? That's how the universe is gonna set things up so that you can consider, you know, how connected are you to what it is that you claim to be connected to. Right? And because of the fact that I'm sure when you checked your thing about the banking or whatever, all those people were talking about was how BS banking is and how not to do it or not to be involved with it. Don't put your money in no accounts and stuff like that. Telling you all the fraud of, you know, creating bonds and paper and selling them to other people like that in order to make credit so that now they can lend you something and whatever, right? So there had to be, Allah's not going to just give you the judgment but not show you how to get out of it. There's always going to be a balance. So you're doing your own research and then something, whatever.
No.
And remember that was out there, right? That was just you just studying whatever out there, right? And you've got some info that gave you a certain mindset. Now you come here, and then you're getting
the first thing I heard was bank and
now you're getting the counteraction to the thing that you were just doing your own research on. But now from home you're getting something to show you that, okay, well, on top of that stuff being BS that they just told you, which is legit, there's also a remedy being created so that you're not looking at that thing as, oh, the bank, and then you get into this whole thing about how people get off the grid, you know, or they don't want to be in the public and in the private side and all this stuff, and you don't want to be part of the, it's not that serious. If you have your own stuff, you just use your own stuff. You don't even have to go crazy. Oh, if the bank's doing that stuff, good thing I have a credit union or whatever. Good thing I have nothing to do with banks. Right? You got credit union back there? Was it even in there?
Yeah, there's no credit union, but I found credit and union.
All right.
I'll read. All right. So, credit, the ability of a businessman to borrow money or obtain goods on time, in consequence of the favorable opinion held by the community or by the particular lender as to his solvency and reliability. People versus case law that influence connected with certain social positions. Time allowed to the buyer of goods by the seller in which to make payment for them. The correlative of a debt, that is a debt considered from the creditor's standpoint, or that which is incoming or due to one. That's motor state, motor, car code versus so on. To a person as a distinguished from debt, that which is due by him. Claim or cause of an action for a specific sum of money, versus American Union Bank. That's for credit.
Yeah.
Now for union. A league, a federation, and unincorporated association of persons for a common purpose, as a trade or labor union. Hughes versus State case law. Yeah, unincorporated association of persons for a common purpose.
All right. So, as Moors, Oh, and also to check, could you check bank as well? As Moors, because we're in the North Gate, North America, right? We can only be creditors. This is in right. This is what the status of Moors. We can only be creditors. We cannot be debtors as Moors, right?
Meaning we can't be in debt.
Right. Debt, not just like taxes. It doesn't apply. Or even if we use the transliteration of even death, doesn't even apply. Only life. Because we're not shell, right? And spirit doesn't die.
Yeah.
So we're forever in credit as Moors. Now as blacks, you know, whatever, you might be in credit, it might be debt, it might be, you know, you might balance the books, whatever. But the credit position is social. So as Moors, it only makes sense that the thing that we're going to use as our treasury, the thing that we use as our treasury is tied to credit opposed to debt, right? Banks are tied with debt under the guise of they're giving credit, but they don't really have credit. They just have the people's energy giving them that pump up, you know what I mean? Now they have buildings and all that stuff and they think that they're somebody.
Yeah.
But one cross of the books and every bank out here is going to be zero balance. And anybody who has stuff in them, they're going to be jumping off these bank buildings. And all the VPs and everybody else, they're going to be jumping out windows and stuff like that because their stuff fell. Their illusion or their faith in credit was based on illusion. Because it was really debt, really and true. Right? You got bank?
Yeah. Bank. A bench or a seat. A bench of justice. Bench of or tribunal occupied by the judges. The seat of judgment, a court. Full bench or full court, the assembly of all the judges of a court. A sitting in bank is a meeting of all the judges of a court, usually for the purpose of hearing arguments on demurs, points reserved, motions for retrial, and other law points, as distinguished from the sitting of a single judge at the assises or at the nisi prius from trials at bar to determine facts. But in this sense, bank and perhaps bank is spelled B-A-N-C in this little pointer is perhaps the more usual form of the word. Sense sitting in the bank is also described as an official meeting of four of the judges of the common law court or tonight.
Right? So it makes sense why Nojo Ali told Moors that they should maintain a treasury, not maintain a bank. Because a bank is the bench. A bank is a tribunal. A bank is a court. A bank is judges hearing arguments. That's a bank. What the people think is a bank, that they call a bank, CIBC, TD, you know what I mean, Scotia Bank, are not any of these stuff. So it can't be classified as such. But again, because of the illusion, because of the people's mindset not having a sure foundation, then they have no idea what they're up against. Zero idea. Right? So the idea is, and then union is a league, association of persons, natural, corporate, whatever, for a common purpose, unincorporated, right? Unincorporated. But then some of the biggest some of the biggest people speaking from the perspective of no, Joe Ali didn't bring that, and who are you, who made you, whatever, to start credit union and all that stuff. It's people who are Morris Science Temple of America Incorporated. Those are the biggest fighters against the credit union. Not Europeans. Remember, we got the letters from the Europeans that they're down with it. They're willing to give brother anything that he needs to get this credit union started up. But Morris Science Temple Incorporated, whoever that is against this happening. Which is why we have quote unquote authority to make this public record. Because the Moors that we revolve around is who they want involved in this credit union, not these wayward Moors that can't, who trying to fight what another Moor is doing. Right? And then keep in mind that it was put on the record from the video that we did on the weekend, that MSTA Incorporated, you can put church with that. So there are more Science Temples of America that are churches. They're not temples. Like Noah Ali said, to be read every meeting. But you talk about Holy Day with some of these Morris Science Temple Incorporated, they're talking about Holy Day service. Service was never, ever mentioned in the literature of Noble Ali. Everything was a meeting. Nothing was service. The only thing that was service was the Rotarian complexion that we have to be humanitarian. So we have a right to service the community, but we don't do services. And they took this as a position that they've been perpetrating for the past, 50, 60, whatever years. Now, you know what I mean? After these Supreme Council, Supreme Grand Council, and whoever didn't do what this brother did for 80 years, this one individual had a brilliant idea, hey, one more is going to have a treasury, well maybe we should have a credit union. Uses the Holy Quran of the Morris Science Temple and our authority from the Morris Science Temple to get this approved. Nothing else. No nationality card, no nothing like that. Only thing he used to get this established is what Noble Ali left. No sending no writs, no creating the trust and then put the building in the trust and all that. None of that stuff. None of that. 101 questionnaire, our authority, and Holy Quran. And that's it. The federal credit union people said, fine, we'll approve you. And then now it's for Moors to prove it to themselves. Because Moors are the ones crying about they want something. Where's the Moorish hospital? Where's the Moorish whatever? Where's the Moorish grocery store? Where's the Moorish this and that? Well, I don't see no Moors out there building that, but we do see a Moor building a credit union. That's already approved. All he needs to do is send in the 400 surveys, which we know that there's more than 400 Elodio card carrying Moors in America. We know that there's more than 400, so he should maybe have 2,000 to 3,000 surveys when he sends the surveys back, not just 400. Right?
So he was supposed to get 400 bodies to fill out a survey?
Yeah, this is just part of the process in setting it up. Yeah, exactly. That's it? Yeah, that's it. 400. That's it. To go through the process of setting this quote-unquote credit union up, they have an outline. So he's at the stage of the outline where, okay, now you need to get the surveys. So you want some information on it, you're going to email Unity, the wider, Temple 14 at Gmail. Unity Temple 14 at gmail.com. And you're going to be in conversation with Brother Kenneth L. because one of the positions that we have is that because of, remember he's in Virginia, right? And he's heading the credit union. Because of the respect that he has for Canaanland Moors Temple, right? We're a silent liaison with the credit union to make sure that, you know, certain people who stick their hand up, you know what I mean? It's, hey, I want to be a part of that or whatever like that. You know, he's going to run those names to us to see who these people are. Because we already know how it goes when Moors are trying to start something and the opportunist charlatans like to try to get in early. Right? So they can make a name for themselves off of somebody else's hard work. Right? But it's not going to run like that. So he already had a few names that were sent to him from other Moors in quote-unquote Moor science temples or whatever. And, you know, some of these Moors that are trying to be involved with the credit union are the same Moors who are talking about, you know, RV Bay is BS. Don't study there. Don't study from Taj Street Bay. Don't study from Canaanland Moors. Make sure that, you know what I mean, the Supreme Grand whoever of Temple number 1 is the one that's in this position and trying to, you know, give orders like they got some authority in this. They don't got no authority in this. This doesn't have nothing to do with these people's ego, title, positions that they've adopted after Noble Drew Ali passed. This has to do with Moorish Americans who realize that certain things we should have, and we don't have it. But any Moorish American that's doing something for the good of Moors, then we will back them to help them out in the work that they're doing. Right? Yeah, more.
Yeah. As you mentioned that, I was online today just before I came, and there's some more on there. He's a cool guy. I listened to his stuff before, but in the same breath, he's saying he reps RV Bay, but he's like making jokes because he's a comedian kind of guy, right? He's making jokes about Moors or niggas that go to RV Bay, like basically saying that they'll be taking your money or stuff like that. So I'm like, did he just diss RV Bay? But in the same sentence, he's saying about master teacher Taj and a seer. So I'm like, in one breath he's saying, you know, he reps them and represents them, knows them, but he's running jokes about, you know, stupid jokes.
Yeah.
And like, that's not funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? Either you rep them or you don't.
Simple as that. And it's people are going to get scimitar to their heads and stuff like that moving forward.
Sure.
Because there's certain activity in the background taking place with the unification of Moors that it's gonna force our hand to go back to how it used to be. Right? Now when we look at during Noble Drew Ali's time, there was a sense of ownership as far as the information, right? There's people who saw what Noble Drew Ali brought as so sacred that they took stuff to their grave before they give it to some of these Moors that were around here during that time. Right? Their integrity was such that, you know what? I'm going to the grave with this stuff because you guys aren't getting a hold of this. We already saw what you did with the stuff that you did get a hold of.
Like tangible things or like
like documentation, you know what I mean?
Wow.
There was a lot of Moors with, for example, when you look at at things that Noble Jolly had put in place that after he died, certain people had jurisdiction over, right? How they get out of those people's hands? Like how does how do Moors who assassinated the Prophet have a mausoleum? Right? The mausoleum is like the tombstone that you can walk into. They got gates on it and stuff like that and whatever. Right? How's the fake prophets have that? But then the prophet, he just has a little thing on the ground and that's it. Right now, you know, you can look at it like, well, you know, if he's the prophet, he doesn't really need a big boulder to show that he's the man or whatever. But we have to question, you know, well, if he doesn't need that, then somebody under him should need less than that.
Well, big things come in small packages.
Right?
Also, I don't know if you're the one that posted this, but I was reading something on Facebook how Moors are using the prophet's name to go after certain banks like JP Morgan and also some other banks.
Yeah, that was in the video.
Huh?
That was in the video with the
Oh, okay, yeah.
the European trying to diss Moor Science Temple or whatever. But then she read the article that was showing the quote-unquote Moor Science Temple that transferred the temples to churches.
Yes.
Called his name on the thing and everything.
Yes, they're claiming churches.
Right, they're claiming church. As Moor Science Temple, they're claiming church.
But they're using the deed in Noble Jewelry's name. So they're saying Noble Jewelry's claiming it. But how can you be dead? Or so-called.
Where's the dictionary at?
Spirit now,
Look up
you're using him as he's alive because that's how powerful he is.
He is, right? And then her making the comment, well, you know, if they're gonna transfer this property, no, she made the comment, it appears that they're transferring this property into a dead guy's name.
Yeah.
I hope they're not doing that or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Look up juridic. Juridic.
So what are you saying is happening here? You're saying individuals or temples?
There. Okay. So what it was talking about was Moors that are basically making claims on people's property
Oh.
under the guise of, you know, you're a foreigner, abandoned, whatever, right? So
Foreclosure stuff.
yeah. So they make a claim on somebody's property, but they put it in Noble Jewelry's name or Moor Science Temple's name.
Right.
Which is, you know, according to the instructions, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Right? Now, they're bringing it up in the article like the banks are in conspiracy with the Moors to try to steal people's property.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Because the bank should know that that doesn't belong to this guy that's filing the papers or whatever. It actually belongs to the guy who filled in the mortgage. So why are they actually doing the transfer? Well, maybe they're actually doing the transfer because
These guys are whack.
because
And the bank is dirty.
like that's really what's going on. That's what it's supposed to be.
The bank needs to get the hell out of
Yeah,
the way.
right. You know what I mean? The bank is like, well, you know, they really have superior claim.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mortgage is useless. So yeah, we're gonna transfer it. So
And the article even said that in Chicago, there is multiple. It's like
Yeah.
like academic. It's like they're going crazy with that stuff.
like they're going crazy with it.
Noble Jewelry's name to get these property.
Right? Now, we always go back to the case in New York with the Moors who were doing the UCC and all that stuff, and then they got through with it. So they did the UCC thing, they got through. They got the check, they got the story from the Treasury, whatever like that, and then, you know, they were basically balling on the stuff that they got. So whatever happened, and then they end up catching a case. Right? They caught the case, and the judge threw the book at them, gave them some 15 years. They're still inside right now. Because, according to the judge, they were frivolous with the stuff that they got. Because what they got, it was actually, they should have did something for the community, or did something for homeless people, or did something to whatever. And you're taking it, and you got cars, you got mansion, 15 rooms and stuff like that, just you living in it. throw the book at this guy. Right? And they were standing on more status and all that stuff. He's like, I ain't even hearing that. Right? So, you know, yeah, there's, you know, little stuff that you can get. You know what I mean? With the fame and nobility. Because remember, everybody's leeching off Noble Drew Ali's fame and nobility. You know what I mean? The people who used the fame and nobility best was NOI. Right? Because they, you know, they severed the tie. They kept the buildings. They severed the tie. They changed the name. You know what I mean? They kept the same process of how the stuff runs or whatever. Right? Whereas everybody else was like straight open undermining. So being that we're Moors and we know that this is a science, you know that you talk against Allah, you talk against the Prophet, you talk against anything relative to the Prophet, something's probably going to happen to you, more than likely. Because this is divine for real, for real. Now, this is not divine in fiction. This is divine in real. Like, this is really the devil's star, right side up. If you flip this upside down, we can put this on the ground, we can do a circle around it, we can do rituals. Like, we could do that because that's the power behind this star. It goes positive and then it goes negative. It goes both ways. You choose which way we want to use it. Right? So, there's power in this when you play with this. If you don't take this like it is what it is, you take this as if you bucket hat guys or whatever like that. Trust me, something's gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? They won't admit it because then it gives credence to what we're saying. That yeah, it's real. Don't play with you know, take what Noble Drew Ali brought and you know what I mean. You're gonna take what Noble Drew Ali brought, pretend like you know, well, you know, I could you know, sell this information or whatever like that. You know, you end up, you know, yeah, and you know, seem to be doing good for yourself. Then all of a sudden, you know, you got problems with your wife or whatever. Just out of the blue. Something she don't like. Now you're going through whatever like that and, you know, it doesn't even register to them. That maybe it's because I did some messed up stuff with what Noble Drew Ali brought. And ancestors are kicking my ass right now. It's not even my wife. It's not even the guy in front of me who stepped on his brakes and made me run into him. There's actually something on my side that I neglected to deal with, which threw everything off. Which is why when you get on this, it's supposed to be just like, you can't play around with straying off the path.
You know what a lot of Moors do? They always forget about the divine side.
Always.
Always. They think it's just national, they think it's just paperwork, they think it's just knowledge and knowing jurisprudence, but if you're not on the divine level, if you're not, I mean, doing your little rituals or you're burning your incense or whatever you do to give gratitude, it's like that's gratitude. It's like the ancestors see that as gratitude. It's like you thanking them. Right? And remember, words to them is our thing. They are in a spiritual realm. They connect with symbols and they connect with
and energies and
energy.
Vibration.
They don't connect with words. So praying, yeah, that's all good, but it doesn't have the same power as if you're burning your incense or you have your little rituals, or you have your shrine, or you have your little thing that you do. You know? It's not about who does it better or who does it right. It's about what resonates with you, what you want to do that makes you feel like you're connected with the ancestors.
And
exactly. Yeah.
And then once you're dealing with the principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then everything is gonna work in your favor. You neglect one of these and see what happens. Play like one of these don't matter and see if anything works. Probably nothing. Because like you say, this is divine, and then when we say divine and national, even national is divine, because national comes from nature. So nature has its own laws. Forget constitution and, you know what I mean, whatever codes and whatever like that people are saying is law. Nature has its own laws. How about just follow those and eliminate the heartache and stuff like that that's going to come after. Because once you recognize that national is also divine, then you look at national totally different now. You have to look at it different. It's not just about show this guy a card and then, you know, whatever. What's the energy behind you giving the card? When he took the card, did he get a shock? Right? You know what I mean? What happened? Did he even, card didn't even come up. He just said, you know what, sorry, have a nice day. That's how he's going about his business. You know what I mean? There's a divine place. Juridic.
There's no juridic, but there's juridical. It's relating to administration of justice or office of a judge, regular, done in conformity to the laws of the country and the practice which is there observed. Juridicus, it's Latin relating to the courts or to the administration of justice. Juridical, lawful.
So there's so much positions that Noble Drew Ali took, right? Like majority of what it is that we look at is the prophet and the things relative to the prophet. But there is documentation that Noble Drew Ali was a president. He was called that in the records, Moore's records. He was called that, right? And we also know that when the handing down of law or the passing of judgments is only going to be done by a judge. So when Noble Drew Ali is talking about handing stuff down to you and divine law will be given to you later and stuff like that, he's passing judgment. Only person who can do that would have to be in a juridic jurisdiction, which is why we have one-on-one questionnaire our authority. That Noble Drew Ali's on there as saying, you, and you guys are going to be the next guy. The next people that's going to take this somewhere. Right? Everything was laid out by him for every facet of our existence so that we could be somebody. Because man said that he brought us everything it takes to save a nation. But out of everything that he brought us to take to save a nation, we probably got 2% of that using that today. And then other people have the rest clouding the perspective. So that the average people don't look at it from its correct perspective. Have the average people looking at it, you know, because this is about waking them up. It's like one of the Moors said earlier today, you know, peace and love to all Moors, even the dirty Moors, because at least y'all know you're Moors. Even though you're dirty, at least you know you're Moors. So peace and love to you, but don't get too, you know what I mean, comfortable or whatever like that. Because we're sending the olive branch your way. We know people are dirty, right? So it's for the people who aren't really on this, the people who really don't get what this is. It's them that need to see that there's credit union and see that Moors are actually unified, because credit union has nothing to do with here, but then if there's a Moorish credit union here, trust me, that's going to make some people look at Moors differently.
Big step.
Big time.
Has to be.
Right? You know, and it might not come the way that we want it to come. It might come from a different avenue. You know what I mean? Like we might have the mentality that, you know, well, you know, people are gonna realize this is real when, you know, all the Moors got Moorish tags on their car. Then everybody's gonna see it. I mean, when the Moors build a hospital, then they're gonna do it. But we know right now it's all about finance. Like the biggest enslavement of our people is economic. So if we can get our people to realize that, well, hold on a second. They say that they're Moors or whatever. Then they go down the street, they see a credit union. Specifically for Moors, not for anybody else. Specifically for Moors. That would change the paradigm. Because half these people, they're going to go out here and they can't get whatever they want from a bank. Bank's going to tell them, sorry, no, we can't deal with you or whatever because of whatever reason. You know what I mean?
I was reading something and the brother went into a bank. The banker asked what bank do you bank with? He's like, I don't bank with no bank. I do cash transactions only. And the bank lady goes, well, I suggest you go get one of, open up a bank account or something because we're going to stop accepting cash soon.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that was Ramiel. Was Ramiel base.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Right? And
But that
again,
doesn't apply to us.
no, it just happened to be you know,
Yeah.
he was at the bank doing whatever. You know what I mean? And then, yo, what's in that bag right there? She opened the bag, cat jumped up. And he's now telling all the Moors, like, hey, this is what the bank lady said. Forget what Moors say. The lady inside the bank said, we're going to stop taking money soon. Soon there's going to be no more exchange of that. So it can mean that, you know, they already got their freaking chip. They're already in the bank swiping to do everything that they're doing. When they go outside the bank, it's you know, regular. But inside, just like an airport. Airport is eye scan and finger scan now.
Is that
For
gonna,
people who work there,
is it going to apply to people who are Moors?
is what going to apply?
Like the fingerprint and all that now.
It's on jurisdiction. So if you shop at Walmart, Walmart says, well, we're getting rid of the card machine. We have finger swipe machine to pay. We don't take no cash. We don't take anything. You have to swipe your hand to pay. Then how bad you want to shop at Walmart? Would apply. Would me if it applies to Moors or not.
So maybe they need to open our own stuff then.
Well, it kind of depends too because, say, certain workplace, they have, when you enter the building, they have fingerprint and stuff.
Yeah.
And in that sense, that's just more of a security issue, even though it's still kind of a violation. But then if you want to work, then
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're gonna.
put your fingerprint.
I mean, now, if you're at the work, and you know, in the past 3 years or whatever, you seen your work go from, you know, punching the clock, whatever, to just swipe this thing, to fingerprint, eye scan, like only certain way it's gonna go or whatever. You know what I mean? Eventually you have to come to the realization that, okay, these guys are going to go there. And what's going to happen when they go there? Is it going to be, you know what I mean, well, you know, stand up for something at that point? Or is it going to be, you know, take the mark of the beast?
So the aim is.
That's the aim. It's been the aim. And, you know, for quote unquote, the, you know, the, conspiracy buffs or whatever, this ain't nothing new or whatever, been knowing that these people are going to be tripping people.
Well, they already have a video of them.
Yeah, getting it.
People
Getting it. Getting the chip.
Well, the animals already been having
They
it.
got a shirt that says,
Yeah.
I'm chipped.
I'm chipped.
All the animals they have it. So
You know what I mean?
we think
Yeah.
they're testing on them. Now,
Does
who
that
do you
have
think
anything
now is
to do with
next?
us?
As far as what?
People started doing it now.
I know, but does that have anything to do with nationals?
Yeah, if nationals want to be in the jurisdiction.
Okay, other than that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? So this is where it comes with what you're saying, that, okay, well, shit, we need our own stuff there. We need to go where where there's no option of get the chip or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's only gonna happen when Moors realize what it is that they got, what they don't have, and what they need, and get their priorities straight. And you know what I mean? But it's only gonna happen when Moors realize it for themselves, not cause Taj said, or Canaanland said, or they watched something and that said for them to do whatever they're gonna do. Nah. You know what this is? You should be going to your whatever you're sitting on for who knows what. You know what I mean? You're sitting on whatever stacks you got sitting there saving for whatever. Right? If these people talking about the banks won't be accepting money anymore, then that obviously means that stuff that's in there, they're not keeping either. If they're not going to take any at the counter, then they're probably not going to have any in it. And with what's in there now, what are they going to do with it?
I heard a lot of bankers got fired or laid off.
Yeah, because there's no bank. There's no bank. It's all been a charade. It's all been a play to get people to think stuff's going on in society. Like, majority of people, if they go and ask for their original contract for anything they signed with these Europeans, from mortgage to a credit card, guaranteed they're not going to get the original, they're going to give them a copy.
The original.
Because the original was bonded.
Sell it to?
Yeah, they sell it to anybody who's willing to buy. Whoever's willing to buy.
Because China don't want the debt anymore, so nobody wants the debt anymore.
And remember that, and this is where they're at. That they took your thing. We're gonna sign, yeah, we'll monetize this, we're gonna sell it to somebody. Somebody else came and said, oh, you're gonna sell, all right, well, we're gonna sell at 10 million. They take it, they get $10 million. Right? Remember, it's not dollars.
And there's
It's
no
paper.
There's no
Paper for paper. Right? These guys said, we're gonna give you this paper that says, you know what I mean, mortgage contract. Sell me this paper. All right, I'm gonna buy a paper. Then they take the paper, whoever bought it, and then they bond it. Right? The people who got the finance, they never got anything. Because they got paper. No different than people you hear Moors complaining, man, we're Moors. We shouldn't have to pay rent and whatever. What do you pay? What do you mean pay? Pay what? What pay did you pay them rent? You didn't give them anything. Give them paper.
So your original document, what use is it to the person who's purchasing it?
Signature.
The signature. Because the signature is where the value is.
That's why when you reserve your rights, they don't like that. Because then that just kind of,
Because they can't use your signature.
you can't live with it.
Oh.
Because it's identity fraud. What they're doing.
Oh, so they're using my stuff now, basically. They've been doing that.
Yeah.
Whoever paid for
That's
my
how-
name.
That's how they survey.
All the
No, my mom was the one that did all this, right?
Yeah. No, we're talking about in your life. Forget what your mom did with birth certificate.
My license, all
We're
that.
talking
they're
about license, social security, whatever. This is why they always have. You ever realize that after it expires, right? After it expires, they just renew.
And you don't have to re-sign anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if you sign something again, then that'll let you know that they're contracting. If they say 50 times, okay, sign here. Every year you come back, oh yeah, sign here. Eventually you'll be like, hold on a second. How come I always sign? Like, if this thing is supposed to be continuous,
What is that we're talking about?
a license or whatever, right?
But they always do get you to re-sign
Your signature.
They get you to read, but you don't go through the You don't go through the process.
You mean of redoing the test?
Do whatever the process was to go through the thing. All they do is just, oh, there's the initial here, or sign here. It's not a new process.
And then they use that signature. Let's say the Chinese guy buys it, he uses it and pretends that he's me, wherever he is.
No, they take your signature and they put it on other stuff.
Right?
So the company, the licensed people, take my signature.
No, I mean it could be them too.
Whoever
Because remember, it's a
pays for it.
signature. So, like, if let's say, okay, situation with you, your son, and then somebody else, right? So you're power of attorney for him. So anything he has to do, you're signing for it, right? If this guy over here knows that your signature could get him whatever, then this guy just take your signature, put it on all the stuff, and claim that it's for him. But really, they're getting it. And most of the time, they're getting it because who it's supposed to go to belongs to them anyways, through birth certificate or through whatever. So you're actually giving the stuff up, right? Indirectly, you're giving it up. Opposed to you saying, oh, I got this one, here's the money for him, because here's the money for him. They go through the back door to get it, and have you thinking that, something's going on legitimate, because they claim they're government and they claim that they're the office of the whatever, so, they gotta be the ones that will give the checks out or whatever like that. You know what I mean? So I should give them all the information that they need. All these people are private corporations. Have nothing to do with anything but rape your pockets. Insurance people rape your pockets. Right?
One question.
Sorry, Brother Omar had a
I'll help clarify for you what you're talking about when you're saying when the Chinese man has, in my mind, the Chinese man has that signature on that mortgage. What that represents is the fact that you're signing off on the fact that you are going to honor the contract, which is a promissory note for the energies. So that means that contract is you paying for that mortgage for that property, which you're not really paying, but it's the energy that you're using at your work to represent the value of that money that Chinaman now has on the paper. So it's really the promissory note of your energies. It's your spirit that he has. The actual signature has no value, but they know that you're now going to go up tomorrow and go to work and do all these things. And so it's this very complex but simple shell game where they're just passing around energy notes. It's the energy of what you are saying you're going to do for it. The signature actually means nothing. It's what the signature represents to you and what you've signed off on. Same thing with the license. The license represents the fact that when you're driving on the street, if you take a right turn on the wrong way, then the man's going to come and take some money from you for that, for some bullshit, but then that represents you then putting some paper in, and it's a complicated game of passing all that paper around, but it's really based on your energy, what you give to that signature, right?
So like, even if we look at somebody who's not working, that signed up for some program, for some services, whoever, to give them
welfare,
right? And depending on how hard you're willing to work, whether it's run here, go get this paper, go get that paper, I gotta go over here, they can photocopy it for you. Now we can't do photocopies here, you need to go half across the country to photocopy something, bring it back, right? All that stuff they're doing is the energy. And then based on that, and you're willing to have another child and then get a birth certificate? Oh, we'll give you $1,000 a month for that. How much children could you pop out?
That's right, because remember, now you're producing more energy for them. Because then your child now has to, when he grows up, he wants a set of
He's going to be in that same cycle.
He wants that thing, and then he marries someone else. That's the whole game. Just a complicated shell game that they keep doing, but you're the energy. That's the whole point. It's you, not the signature, not the money. All that stuff is the bookkeeping stuff, as well as the commonality of us having some piece of paper that we all respect and honor.
Right. But in the background, it's about how do you control your energy, and then that's where it comes into reserving your rights.
One
and
last thing.
and making sure that, you know, when you engage these people, that you're engaging them with a sound mind. You're not engaging them under duress. You're not engaging them stressed out about something. You're not engaging them because they sent you something red letters. Now you feel threatened, and you got to be in your right frame of mind, which is where it comes into, you know, turbans, fezzes, having our culture, adopting who we are, so that us being ourselves is gonna permeate from our pores.
And then bring us back to where we were.
And bring us back to where we were. That, for example,
On that frequency.
being on the frequency of, you go somewhere and they just give you whatever it is that you want. They're not going to question it, because your energy is going to talk to them a certain way.
The power of attorney, right?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
told me that how, she could be a power of attorney for the baby, so anything happens with him, she would be in control of his finances. She can be in control of his finances.
Yeah.
And she's always asking me for his full name,
Yeah.
because she wants to open up an account, a savings account for him,
Right.
but she'll receive 500 for him, or whatever. She always wants to do all these things and open up these things for him.
Yeah.
A family member.
Okay,
So I'm like, but he's not yours. But she's doing these things behind my back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how is this? Now that you're saying this, it just popped in my mind. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what is she might obviously know a lot more than me, obviously.
I mean, well, again, you have to remember that this system is built off of kidnapping.
And these are things I don't want to do. I don't want my son in the system.
Yeah, these are things. The system itself is built off of kidnapping, right? So
On multiple levels of
yeah,
energy
on
as
different
well.
levels. So, you know, there's a money grab for him from people, quote unquote, in your family that are power of attorney, because, you know, there's a certain services organization or whatever that, you know, if you're the power of attorney, they'll give you $500 a month. That's just what it is.
But then let's just
Right.
for a half quick second while I was just listening to a DVD a couple of days ago. Attorney really stands for turning, which means to turn over. So the very concept of attorney means that this person is really part of the process of turning your child over to that jurisdiction.
Or whatever, or your property.
Right.
You hear it a lot with you know, divorces or people who got estates and they die, and then now you have 4 family members talking about they're the, you know, and then they go and they secretly find freaking some shit in the backyard or whatever like that, opening the wills in there, and then he passed the stuff to the dog,
Yeah, for real.
and then everybody's mad.
Yeah.
But that was my uncle, whatever. No, well, I mean, obviously he didn't mean shit because he gave stuff to the dog. What are you fighting about? And then that person put it in writing, you know what I mean? And they, now that is what is going to be used as the template as who should get what. Not, well, you know, well, I'm the brother and I'm the whatever. This is why you would do your own will or whatever, to make sure that he gets whatever it is that he's supposed to get. And again, you're doing free national name or whatever like that. You have witnesses that are free national. So nobody who's quote unquote corporate or attorney or whatever could have jurisdiction in the affairs.
And how could they get the position of being an attorney, a power of attorney for him? Like they just go in the court without my consent and just do what they want to do?
The same way, because remember, once they, it's just like with children's services, right? Children's services are going to make sure, in a domestic dispute, whatever, that the parents are tied up in something criminally, right? So that children's services could pretend to be the power of attorney. Because the parents aren't able to whatever, and then because we're children's services, we take care of children and stuff like that.
Right.
So the court is going to grant them, power of attorney. More than likely because little brother or sister has a birth certificate, which puts them in the jurisdiction of being able to anybody to say, power of attorney. Okay, I'm going to be that because that guy's birth certificate, right? Which is why it's imperative of
Yeah, that's right.
that
That's right.
when you
Because they're very
say children or have children or heirs, offspring, whatever, you better put LB on their stuff like that. And stop playing around like, you know, to do that is, you know, a disgrace to something or whatever, right? You better give him something relative to title of nobility so that even if something does happen, that once they're going through all the papers or whatever like that, and they say, whatever that name, Ellen Bay's coming up. So that they can't claim to have any jurisdiction. Because trust that they know. But if we don't exercise like we know, if we don't do the things necessary, like when they're saying like we're reserving your rights, there's mad Moors that don't reserve their rights. Who know about it?
Fair.
But then, you know what I mean? The false education appearing real, not really understanding what it is about reserve your rights. Like, what does that mean? Reserve your rights. Did they go check, or did they see something in the video and they weren't inspired because the guy in the video didn't say it like with enough, you know, how they like to hear stuff. So now they're not going to do reserve their rights when it's something that you should have been checked out. And then that's just something that you do moving forward. You know what I mean? If we realize that there's an issue, then you should be working toward fixing the issue. Like, you're not going to realize there's an issue but not deal with it. You have to deal with the issue. You have to take the responsibility that, okay, something has to be done here. We're at the stage where we already know we're not Negro, black, color, whatever, so the stuff that we have to do is minimal, right? The stuff that we have to do is really just, you know, organizational stuff like Omar always talks about. You know, we don't got to do nothing, we just need to get organized. We don't really have to work like that. Once we're organized, it's a well-oiled machine once we're organized. When everybody's playing their part, if everybody's putting left foot and then right foot and left foot, then the stuff's going to look uniform. We don't even have to have nothing. You know what I mean? We just have a community cleanup. We got 50 feds out there going from Kiel, just walking up there, just walking. We don't have to pick up nothing. Just walk and see what happens. Guarantee you're gonna have people coming out. You know what's going on? What are they doing? You know what I mean? Because it's something impactful. It's something that is gonna make them realize that something's going on. There's a shift happening or whatever like that. Stuff we're talking about. That's realizing that there's a shift happening. Some two sisters called me in the past 2 days. One sister, she was studying this information or whatever like that, and it led her to Grand Sheik nature. That's where she got led to as the, you know, standard of a more to study from, Grand Sheik nature. And then the other sister, she connected with Grand Sheik Ramiel in Cali. Now, from what they're saying, the other Moors other than those ones were all on some religion or whatever like that, and they were like, I don't want nothing to do with that. But they didn't throw the temple away because they knew that there was something there, right? They bumped into people talking BS about the same people who they're going to right now for classes or whatever like that, right? They had individuals try to sell them packages and all that stuff, and they didn't go for it because they had a spirit connection that made them stay on the straight and narrow, and they got confirmation now that, yeah, you're in a good spot, just stay with those Moors there. You don't have to search for Moors anymore, like you found the ones. If you're going to find Grand Sheik nature and you're going to find Ramiel, then okay. There are some Moors that you can chill with, learn from. You're definitely going to get something from them Moors, right? So there's a shift that's going on right now. And those that are in tune with the shift are going to automatically be on the side of the righteousness and the things that are good and the things that are going to benefit the Moors. Other people are going to be wherever it is that they are. I don't know because I'm not there. But I know for a fact that it's not here.
touch on the reserving right issue. From my personal experience, when I was dealing for an insurance company and I reserved my rights, but I was using a straw man. So at first they didn't want me to reserve my rights. They're telling me we're not accepting your, they're not accepting it, but in reality they did because I was still insured. But they keep on writing me saying, well, I'm insured, so screw you, I ain't signing nothing. But then when I made a claim now, they canceled my my policy. And so in a way, reserving rights work, but if you don't have nationality to go with it hand in hand, then it's going to be a drawn-out process trying to get remedy, because soon after I just sent my writ showing them I'm a Moorish national, boom, I was reinstated and I got my claim. But I'm pretty sure if I wasn't a Moorish national, it would have been a fight for me to sue them and 2-3 years later and all that kind of stuff. Right. So reserving right is good, but without the nationality to back it, then it's kind of only a halfway process, if you understand what I mean. To get the full remedy from it, you better have a nationality to go with it.
Well, sister, I was just responding to you when you were talking about that other relative of yours going into those courts. Probably what's happening behind the scenes is they're taking control of the status of being the trustee or the best ward for your child. I don't know what's going on on your personal side. But they obviously have certain angles. They're probably going to court. Maybe you've had some sort of, like Cujo was saying in the past, you're embroiled in some issue. And once they can sort of, and the other thing I think we have to understand is there's collusion between all of these organizations as well, right? So
and people who you might know.
Right. So they'll be saying, they'll know stuff about you behind the scenes, and maybe at a moment you might have given over something at a moment that they're still going on. Because remember, what they're doing is they're continuing, these are accounts that they keep dipping into. So a lot of the times, I think in one of these videos they were talking about, you think the shit's done. That stuff is still alive somewhere behind the scenes, right? On paper and really being what is really happening, like is what's really running the show.
Yeah.
So if there's one moment where you may have signed over to that lady, let's say power of that, and then you thought because you have your child back and they're allowing you to make some decisions,
that everything's over.
That everything's over, that same other document, maybe because you haven't refuted it, is still being what she's going in there to access. And you're absolutely right. I know another, an Awaken More, what he does is he has a property and he has people living in the house and he's writing them off of his corporate taxes. So she might be playing some game with that where she's got some little account and then she's getting some little baby bonus, something. So that those are the angles. What
That's in the background.
Because I have bank accounts with my name in it, and I didn't even know. She just put me on it, obviously.
You are saying that?
She I have bank accounts with my name on it. Like.
But you didn't make them.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm like.
So and again, like.
And I can't even take any money out of it.
Right. So because
it's not you. Right. And that should prove it even more so.
That should because remember what you're talking about, the collusion, right? You have multiple parties,
racketeering
coming together to trick you out of finance that's really yours.
But everybody else.
But everybody else could go in.
They all know about what's going on, but me.
Right. So now,
because I'm not there.
Even when you look at this idea about lack of a better term, family, right? We're breaking this down that a lot of people in our lives that we're related to by blood are really relatives, not family. Right? Like they're not really family like that. Like there's people that aren't your blood that's gonna look out for you more than people that's your blood. Then those people that claim to be your blood aren't really your blood.
Because ultimately family comes from an energy level and a responsibility level and an activity level. So if your father's out there doing nonsense, and he's not at home looking after you, yet there's a man there that maybe your mother is living with who's coming home and bringing home that food and doing whatever, he's part of your family. Versus your father, who's sort of really your blood, who's maybe out there.
That's not really taking or the father who's not taking responsibility, or the mother who's not taking responsibility. So that's where it comes in with the individual now, looking at that scope. As are these people who I really want to bring my child up around or whatever? Like, are these people really? Because being that you're a mother now, you're not really. You got your own child, so you being a child and them having say in him is not really. It doesn't really go like that because you're a mom, right? Now, if your mind's warped or whatever, yeah, you might need power of attorney, but
Because
you have some sense.
the funny
or
thing,
whatever,
when
right?
she called and asked for the information, I said, how are you gonna just open up an account with his name? And she's like, listen, just give me the name. I said, no, I have rights. And when I said that to her, she changed. And I was like, oh, that was the first time I ever spoke up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh, everything changed. She's
But
like,
that's
okay, well, if you want to, you can give it to me.
And again, that's even part two, because once you start talking up with anybody, you know what I mean? Like people love to quote unquote bully,
Right.
especially when they know that nobody's not gonna say nothing about it or whatever. You know what I mean? They keep poking at you, see how much they can poke. Opposed to stop poking, they'll just keep poking just to see how far they can go with it, right? If somebody's gonna go as far as have, not an account, but accounts in your name and stuff like that, you probably need to consider these people as enemies to the cause,
Can I ask a question?
because that's not family oriented behavior.
That's not normal.
That's stranger behavior. You know what I mean? Not that strangers should be doing messed up stuff to people that they don't know or whatever, but that's not family behavior. You know what I mean?
So was there, whoever this person is, this a relative or something?
Yeah.
Like an older relative, like an aunt or something, as an example? Was there a period of time when there was some issue where you did sign something over to her?
No. I never signed anything. She just called me and told me, give me his information. I said, why?
This is just now, recently, but you were also been
This
talking
is like a
about
couple months ago.
What about these accounts that have been opened in your name? Is that
Well, I never really said, I didn't know who opened it, because when I went to the bank, they'll be like, oh, I'll give them my name, and they're like, oh, which account is this? I said, I only have one with you. And they'd be like, oh, well, we see here something different. So when I ask, oh, what do you see? They don't want to tell me, because
Right.
I never opened the account.
Right.
They're in collusion.
Yeah. I mean, and again too, like, we always have to also remember that on the side of these different organizations or whatever, once you're dealing with the teller, like it's a lost battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're already once you put the energy in. If you're in front of a teller for a minute and you didn't ask for a manager yet, the stuff's done. They're not gonna go get the manager when you call. They're gonna, you know what I mean, go get the supervisor or somebody. They're gonna start playing gatekeeper. So that's why we tell more is right. You know what I mean? Write about it. Send them a letter about it. See if you get a reply. And then don't send it to, the branch, whoever. Send it to their boss, the branch's boss. Like, yeah,
At the
my,
headquarters?
yeah, huh?
The headquarters?
Yeah.
Or another thing would be walk into the branch, even before you go to a teller, you direct and say, I need
Yeah.
to talk to a
The
manager.
manager.
Then when the manager comes in and says, listen, I've been understanding that there's some stuff going on in my accounts, they have the responsibility to then have to give you that information.
Right.
But if, like he said, if you get to the teller part, that you start playing some games. If you were the manager and say, I understand that there's, and what you have to do is start mentioning certain words like fraud, theft, and racketeering.
Yeah, can I withdraw?
Yeah, can I keep that? No, but what you do is you ask them that, and they have to produce those things for you, because if not, then it becomes fraud. So then they'll say, oh, well, your aunt opened up 2 accounts in your name, and then you'd say, well, how, you know what I mean? Then that's when you start getting them
Probe, yeah.
Then you start getting them pinned into a corner,
Yeah.
because if they've colluded with this lady to open up some accounts on you in your name for your benefit, but you're not getting any benefit, and they're getting the benefit, then they right there have broken that trust,
Right.
because they're getting the benefit of a trust that you have no involvement in, right? Which then is breaking the law, right?
So it's, I mean, everybody's situation is going to be different with regard to the the family aspect. But you know, being in this frame of mind now, when we look back at our life from the time that we're born to where we are right now, we know whether these people have been treating us messed up or whatever, or if, you know what I mean, stuff was good and I'm the one that, you know what I mean, took advantage or whatever. And that's what it comes down ultimately to, like, you know, like somebody was saying earlier, like, what, for you, what is it? You know what I mean? What is it for you? Is it really about accounts and whatever like that? Is it for closure? Is it, you know what I mean, these people actually have finance for you and they took it out? Are they getting finance from him, from the government or whatever like that, secretly? Like, whatever it is.
Yeah, but
you know
no
what I mean?
one wants to give me $1 for nothing.
Yeah, well, you know.
But here's another option too. You can go straight to that. You can go straight to that source and say to her or him, "Hey, listen, I want to know what's going on with this stuff. If you don't explain this to me, I'm going to start getting some authorities involved."
Or pursue further actions.
Right, and that is because what you'll realize is they will very quickly probably want to try and explain stuff away. If they know that what they're up to is sort of on that edge.
Yeah.
As you're getting your competency, they'll realize that they will have painted themselves into a corner because probably somewhere in there they've signed off on the fact that they're representing you. Yeah. And in the instant that you say to them that she's really been working in a de facto, in a fraudulent way against you, all of a sudden now she's going to be held.
Right.
And that's going to be like someone taking your checkbook and signing a check
signing
on it and
checks.
then going and cashing it.
Yeah.
And then you not saying anything, well, no one says anything. But the instant you say anything, all of a sudden
that stuff stopped.
so you could use that as a very good tool. You might have to get yourself in a certain mindset to do that.
Because of who you're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
But like sort of getting yourself into an aggressive mindset where saying, hey, listen, and that may be done by doing some pre-research at the bank. If that's important to you.
And that's if it's you know what I mean, like if they're doing something dirty with the name and the account or whatever like that, you know what I mean? But if they really, you know, went and opened an account in his name and they're trying to save some finance for him or whatever like that, then you know it is what it is. Like, you know, just make sure that you get tied to it.
Well, I say the best thing for her to make sure he's nationalized.
Yeah.
That's
Before
the best
anything.
protection.
Yeah, before anything.
Well, you being nationalized first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before that. You have to be first.
Yeah.
The other day I was seeing what's it called? Some national cards with barcodes on them now.
Yeah.
Does that have to do with the MSTA ink too? I was wondering about how come those ones have barcodes and they could like scan it and it'll show that they're like the police can scan it or whatever and it'll show that they're national or whatever.
So the idea, the conceptually, that makes sense. But like we were talking about earlier with the job, if it goes from punching to clock in for work, to swipe to clock in for work, to fingerprint to eye scan, then that's going to be the same across the board. So all these Moors are swiping Moors. They think, you know, yeah, we got it right here. Because when you swipe, the stuff comes up. Well, swiping is going to be obsolete eventually. And if you want stuff to come up, you're going to have to swipe your hand.
Then you got to think about that. Why is it that they're now back at the point where they're having you swipe your hand? Because it's really you. You're really it. Right? And that's why they're getting rid of the money, because you're really the money.
That you swipe yourself.
And that's what they've been trying to move at. So they get rid of the gold, get rid of the fake fiat that they've been playing this game with. And you're now signed on to just keeping it moving, right? That's why they've been hinting at this stuff with technology. You're going to walk into a store, they're going to scan your eye, and you're going to walk out with the stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that still comes from a war chip status too. We're looking after you because obviously you can't look after yourself.
And again, it might be, you know, it might be 50 years from now. But trust me, swiping is going to be obsolete. And it's going to be pass your hand over something to get what you used to get as a swipe. So you know, there's an appearance right now. Oh yeah, Moors are swiping the stuff's going on a computer with police and stuff like that. Yeah, they're not getting detained, and then all these Moors are going to jump on. They're like, yeah, let's get the cards with the barcodes or whatever. All right, well now they don't use barcodes anymore. So how you get that information in that computer for this guy to know that you're on the detain list? Are they willing to take the stuff? We'll find out when that time comes. Because they're repping it hard right now, barcode. Moors are repping that hard. We're not talking about corporate people. Right? Moors are repping, have a nationality card with a barcode. Alright, cool, let's go get it.
Yeah, but to have a barcode, wouldn't you basically have to be in some kind of contract with the system to have it?
Well,
in the
again,
system to,
you know, the contract that they're under with that is the Real ID Act. Because they're saying that, well, the Real ID Act qualifies that
This barcode.
that cards should have barcodes that when they swipe, according to the Real ID Act. Well, you know, if you're more, then you know that Supreme Law of the Land's Constitution, not Act. And on top of that, the UN Declaration said that you have a right to identify yourself. So if you have a right to identify yourself, and then Supreme Law of the Land, then what do you need this act for? To justify your nationality card.
yeah, that seems like a trap.
Big time trap. But it only seems to, it's only not a trap to Moors who don't study. Because again, what are they going to do? And this is the question for the barcode Moors. Because if the barcode is obsolete in everything else, nothing else is using barcode other than products. Right? There'll be nothing else with barcode other than products. Right? Then, you know, the product's not getting chipped.
In Europe,
Right? Only barcodes.
Well, and I think though that this is where some of the next level of understanding is that all of this is complicated bookkeeping stuff, which they've been trying to get a handle on. Because remember, it's never been about the money. The so-called money's being leaned against our state, us as wards. So really, the barcode and all that informational stuff is all done to keep a track of it, so that it's complicated. It's complicated bookkeeping done on that international level.
Right.
So once they've moved out of that, they're then, let's say, using your DNA strand as the barcode to then sort of then attach that to an account. And that's to keep themselves into the game, which started with them taking the gold out of it, going to the money check, going all the way down to all these things. But they noticed that what's been happening is that they can't control any of that. So at the end of the day, what they're wanting to do is finally get rid of all of that stuff, which is a fraud, and then have you being bought onto this barcode thing, which then gets erased and becomes this DNA scan thing, which then has you still in the system and them still running the show, right? Because what happens when you go to buy something, if they don't want you getting it, your DNA then, it's the same thing as your card, not giving you any sorry, sir, you can't have that. You don't have any money in your account.
Right. So it's not and then think about this too. When they swipe, the ones that I've seen, when they swipe, they say that you're a foreign national.
Wow.
Oh,
So if you're a foreign national,
Means international.
if you're a foreign national, then clearly you're not from here.
And you know
But what did Noble Juali say? Noble Juali said that it is most earnestly hoped that the Moor Science Temple is not confused with any Back to Africa movement. So all these barcode people who are claiming that they're foreign nationals, trust they're going against what Noble Juali laid down, and trust they got something coming. They might not see it yet, but it's on the way.
From here.
They're going to learn.
so this just came to me this moment now. This is crazy. When I first opened my so-called bank account in my straw name, it's going back now 2 years, the very first deposit had a designation saying foreign investment affixed to the money that I put in to open up the account. And what I now realize, just in this moment now, is that exactly what Cujo's saying is that they're considering me to be a foreigner in my own country. And that's how they're running the show, through this whole mercantile, you being actually an entity that doesn't belong to the land. On my piece of, on the affidavit or the record, it actually said, and I thought it's strange,
Yeah,
because I put $100 and they said foreign investment.
yeah.
And I couldn't figure out what it meant, but it now, it's just come around that that's what they were doing. They started off this account, they're not telling you that they're treating you as a foreigner.
Right.
Because ultimately you are a foreigner as the straw.
Right. And then the perception that they're working on is that you're foreign, as in the perspective of piece of patty crumb is stuck in your teeth. So patty crumb is foreign to your mouth.
But this is
But that's not the perspective how they're using it as far as the establishment. The establishment is using it that you're not from here. You're a foreigner. Our claim is this is the United States. Right? If you're not part of this, you're a foreigner.
So they're claiming the sovereignty right of being part of the United States, and you're coming over as if you're a foreigner with your last name tying back to England or something like that, or some foreign place, and you're then coming over here and they're allowing you to do business, which then ties in with the driver's license, which is then you traveling corporately on the land as a corporation, right? That's what the driver's license means, someone that they can then tax, because you're a foreign corporation doing business here, rather than an absolute aboriginal person who shouldn't be taxed. They're taxing you as if you came over here from somewhere else.
Right, and then you shouldn't be taxed because you're never ever engaging in business. You're never ever engaging in commerce. You're just, freely
Ordering on your land.
exercising your right to live. Right?
Wow.
Which again, it goes with this question. Proper status process of a Moor. How does one submit his document indicating full faith and status? Next, moving on to declaration of status. So like we were saying earlier, that the proper process of status correction from Negro, black, colored to Moor is knowledge. Before you have knowledge, there should be no filling out of any forms, any papers, any signing anything, any applying for some card, registering for some class or whatever like that. None of that should be going on until self knows what's up. Because there's people right now saying, whatever amount for a class, and then people are going to these classes with empty. And then they go into this thing and then they get caught up in the hoopla of, oh, I learned something so great. Oh, I'm definitely going back next week. Oh, I'm definitely going back next week. And then, you realize that these people have been doing classes for, 7 years. And at first year, class was $50, now it's $700. And then all of these people who supposedly been through this thing or whatever like that, this class or whatever like that, they don't got nothing to show about what they got taught in that class. We know, as far as Moors who go to RV Bay University, they have stuff in their life to show. That they went to that school, and then this is what I got out of the school. Right? There's rarely people who don't have something to show that they got, whether it's, and we're not talking about some tangible BS. We're talking about somebody saved, like, their mom's property that the church was just about to get.
Got a child back.
Child back from children's services or whatever like that. The ability to retrieve their child from children's services or something like that with this information. All right? And remember, no 200, no $50, no 5,000, nothing like that. Just punch in the stuff or whatever, go do your research. Because this is free for everybody. This is not some, like, it boggles the mind when they got people, like me and Omar were talking about this. They got people out here, saying $2,000, $5,000 for status process correction or whatever like that. And
$600 for classes.
And then we say $20 for a lecture or whatever like that, or you know what I mean? And then people are complaining, what are we doing with the money? Like, what do you mean? You guys not questioning those $2,000 guys, what they're doing when they steal your money or whatever like that. Half the time, those people who get played by them, they come back to us bitching about, well, they do, what, yeah, but, like, how come you don't call a highwayman on them or something like that? That's robbery. If they did that. Oh, nah, because, you know, brothers and stuff. Oh, so brothers rob brothers and stuff like that? What kind of Moorish nation are you guys living in? Where Moors could get away with $5 for paperwork on some other Moors that are ignorant of their birthrights. And then Moor who gets played, they're not talking up, they're oh, well, you know, it's something that happened, the money doesn't matter and all that stuff like that. And then want to know why there's problems?
Just
So,
like the sister was telling me that she paid the Brampton Board $600 for a set of classes. I'm thinking in my head, for classes, like really?
10 over.
For classes, like come on, think. People don't think.
600 notes.
For classes, like a set of classes, and
Right.
the person wasn't even always online. It's not even like going to a class. It's like online, like a conference call.
Some conference call stuff. 600 for a call, phone call. That's worse than Sprint and Rogers or whatever. $600 for a phone call. Right? So this is why, again, that when people come with these questions about how do they correct their status and then we tell them go study, and then they're listening to jerky boys, that's not an answer, go study. How come they didn't tell you what to study and all that stuff? Because man knows not by being told. And if man knows by being told, trust me, these people are about to play you, because there's charlatans out here.
Because I remember when I just started coming to the temple, and when I was taking in all the information, I was saying to myself, like, this stuff is free? Because I come from a hustling background,
Crazy.
and I know nothing's free.
Nothing's free.
Nothing's free.
Nothing. Everything you have to pay for.
Exactly. So I'm like,
You know what
this
I mean?
is free, and like,
Everything you have to
I
pay
didn't know
for.
about it. I'm like, I have to come back to see if this is true or not. Like,
Yeah.
there must be some kind of catch to it. I have to see what's the catch. You know, because when something sounds too good to be true, I always want to find out what's the catch. Like,
Yeah.
what's the catch to it, you know? And then come to realize that nationality is it's free, and you're born with it, then yeah, it makes sense.
Straight.
You have to think. People don't use their mind. There's common sense, like people always say.
And again, go back again to Drew Ali. Because Drew Ali told Moors, think and save yourself. 6% of the Moors that know they're Moors don't think. Somebody has to tell them something. Give them some type of orders. Give them some type of whatever. When the same stuff that this individual is telling somebody or whatever like that, the person being told could just go research, they would have found out the stuff. In less the time that they're waiting for a call back then. You guys, I left a message 2 weeks ago and whatever. I'm trying to find out where the whatever is and the history of, you know what I mean, the whoever. You didn't check nothing for 2 weeks? You waiting for a call back? Get the hell out of here.
Niggas don't like to study.
They don't like to read. They don't like to study. None of that.
They just like to be entertained.
Right? And just like this, speaking to what Cyrus said about this being free, even this isn't free. What this costs you is the fact that the illusion that you're living in is now destroyed.
Yeah.
Like in that Matrix movie when you think that you're eating steak, when they pull down the illusion and you're really just eating air. That's what this is really all about. So this is that cost. This is the cost of the end of all of this thing that you think. So that can be even scarier. That's what they talk about taking these pills. I might just want to take that pill and jump back into the Matrix because it's easier for me.
Right.
Some steak.
Yeah.
No,
But
exactly.
it comes back to that same thing. Like you know what I mean? Like when it's like what you're saying again with Matrix. You know, is that really air you're breathing?
Right.
Now, if you stop and think, hold on a second. This guy just said, is that really air I'm breathing? Like, that'll send you,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
especially if you're not in your right mind or whatever.
That's right. And we've had people come into this movement, sister who have come to try to take on to this stuff and ended up in crazy houses.
Ended up in madhouse.
Oh my god, I felt mad yesterday.
Ended up in madhouse.
No joke. We're not joking.
A crazy house. Because they came into this on some, not study. Just open their self up and then let Moorish stuff just flood them. Well, there's charlatans out here. There's
charlatan.
like thief or whatever. I mean, there's people whose energy is really not on the liberation of our people.
Right.
So you shouldn't want to take stuff from them, especially stuff that you're going to put in your mind, which is going to go into your heart, which is going to go into your etheric bodies and all that stuff. You talk about, you know, they want to eat pork. There's certain people you shouldn't study from that's worse than eating pork.
Islam.
You worry about some, you know what I mean? The food out here sucks. The stuff people are teaching people out here sucks. Worse than the food. Right? Brother Ray L. Islam Moors, all praises due to Allah, honors to the Prophet Noble Juali, and honors to his forerunner Marcus Garvey. I don't have a question at this time, just want to honor the Canaanland Moors, especially GS Cujo L. Thank you, Moors, for your due diligence and good works. This is what the Prophet had in mind when he set up the temples, for us to have civics as well as spirituality. Keep up the good work. Ramon L., Northwest Amexum, Northwest Africa, North America, the North Gate, Maghreb Al-Aqsa, Morocco, the farthest west. Yeah, good that he went there, because we had, oh yeah, let me just get sis questions. Navi Bay, when dealing with the local policy enforcers, what is the correct protocol as far as where to send a cause of action for their colorable practices? When dealing with the local policy enforcers, if their colorable actions result in you getting kidnapped or tickets or whatever, we always go back to what did self do to create that problem? Because these people really go off energy. They really go off energy, right? Because of the energy that certain Moors surround themselves with, they might not have legit plates or license for 2 years or whatever like that, they still don't get stopped. Because of energy. They don't call these people's name, they don't think about them, out of sight, out of mind, so highwaymans don't even exist when they're out there. They don't see them, they don't engage them, they never get freaking ride program, speed traps, whatever like that, miss them. Like they never ever 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 deal with these people ever. Right? We're at that protocol, opposed to the protocol how to deal with them after something happens. Right? Let's solidify the protocol of evading them at all costs. Don't see them ever. Don't engage them ever, but you're still able to go out there, do what it is that you're supposed to do, right? You know, little things. One thing that when I was traveling, one thing that was mandatory is before you get in, walk around, make sure everything works. Bring those ones back. Because we know these people stop you for anything. Little dangling thing, light not working, so any reason that they can to stop somebody, because again, everything that they do, every interaction with us is a money grab. If they're not getting finance, they're not going to want to deal with you. Which is part reason why they don't want to deal with Moors, because they know Moors not hiring no lawyer or whatever like that. If we go to court, we're dealing with the stuff ourselves, so they're losing. It's not like dealing with Negro, black, colored, where, you know what I mean, they're taking somebody out of their element or whatever like that to deal with them. If they deal with us, they have to hire the lawyers. They have to call the judge in. They have to do the certain things that's costing finance. For us, it ain't nothing. There's some papers, send the papers out, go in there, state your claim, blah, blah, and keep it moving. Right? Omar and then Brother Osiris.
So where I come from the perspective of this is that even let's say we look at this from the perspective of these Europeans looking to sort of cost us finance, I look at this from the perspective that even if this was us running the show for ourselves, we would still need to have certain rules or regulations.
Right.
Which would probably still include not running a red light, not
Exactly.
speeding,
Where
not
seatbelt,
taking right
whatever.
turns, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So ultimately, we are the people who do follow the law. And yes, the law, we may see it from that perspective, but that's the level we need to get to where we're not so-called breaking the law, even though we want to get mad at who's running the show. It really would be about not breaking that law, bringing us back into power, and going from that
Cause
perspective.
of action. See if cause of action is in the.
It would be from that perspective that we wouldn't want, that we would want to adhere to society at large.
Right.
But ultimately, when we come into control, like Cujo's made comments about before too, hey, you might be in some shit, some stuff where you might be slinging dope on the thing. The so-called Europeans put you in jail for 2 years. If the Moors are running the show, they might be chopping off your hands.
Yeah. So what do you really want to do it?
So it might be better
for you
to deal with Europe. But ultimately, what we would say to that is we need to adhere to the law and bring ourselves up to that level, and hopefully not be in this state.
Right. Right. And then, right. So yeah. Let's get to the place of the protocol, so we don't have to deal with them. But just in case we have, it happens that we got to deal with them. You got the thing there?
Yeah.
Cause of action.
Cause of action. Cause of action may mean one thing for one purpose and something different for another. Venezuelan meat export code versus U.S. Case law may mean accident in Maryland casualty code case law. Yeah, so it just pretty much means may mean one thing for one purpose and something different for another.
So, in the purpose of colorable practices, a cause of action is to set up a suit. So if you're talking cause of action, you're talking about what happened, how they violated you, what they violated, which is why you're making the cause of action, and you're about to sue them. The cause of action is not a writ you're going to send to them for something or whatever like that. If you're doing cause of action, you're going to sue. Only time cause of action applies when more say cause of action. Because the cause of action is supposed to be the reason why you're pursuing further to take them to court for whatever reason you're taking them to court. Violate your rights, okay, well you're taking them to court, you're going to have a cause of action to show what these colorable practices were and how they violated you and what they violated, right?
Just want to add to the part when you're saying about your mindset is like a good example was, right? I park on the side of the street. My daughter parks on the side of the street. Her boyfriend now, he came over and he parked on the side of the street, but his mind all he was thinking was, I hope I don't get a ticket, I hope I don't get a ticket. Are you sure I'm going to get a ticket? Right? The sign says that, I'm like, I never got a ticket, she never got a ticket. The next day we went down, he got a ticket.
Yep.
And we've never got a ticket on the side of the street. Never. But it's just that mindset, like you said, if you're on the road and you're thinking about getting stopped, you're probably going to get stopped. Right? If you see the highwayman and you get butterflies in your stomach, you're probably going to get stopped. That used to be me. And now, I see them, but I don't see them.
The butterflies.
I see them, but I'm like, move out of my way, I'm trying to get somewhere.
See me and don't see me.
Exactly. So it's that same thing, it's your mindset. The mindset has to change, and they sense fear. That's another thing. When you're dealing with them, if you're nervous and you're fearful, I mean, not even nervous, but if they are the authority to you, they're going to sense
They're going to assume that position.
And they love that. Once they feel that, then you just gave them the whip. Now they're just going to whip you with it. But more now, you're like, get your supervisor and you're challenging them and you're acting like you're the authority. Then they're going to be like, what should we do next? So the most thing they can do is probably just give you a ticket, just to get it over and done with, or that's the most. But usually they sense the fear, and that's powerful. Like they sense it. So if you are giving off that I'm not the authority, or I'm afraid to go to jail, or I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. Just like this lady, the video I saw, the police pulled her over. She was crying even before he even did anything. He said, "Lady, calm down. I was just checking to see. You're driving slow. I was checking to see if you're okay." I was like, I was so scared.
She didn't want
like,
nothing.
Yeah.
You didn't
I
want
didn't
nothing.
get shot.
She's
I'm like,
tripping. Gonna get shot.
no wonder why you don't shot them to you.
No wonder you pulling them, right? Pulling them,
Exactly.
right? What is the underlying factor on so-called blacks being everything and everyone else except themselves? Majority of it is who they listen to. Because majority of the people that they listen to don't come from the perspective that they're Moors. So because they're not coming from the perspective that they're Moors, then they're getting whatever those people give, right? Which again goes back to the thing of studying for yourself, checking for self. Because if this is about know thyself, if this is about know thyself, then you should know. You can't claim know thyself, but somebody told you who you are. Right? You're supposed to know thyself, but somebody told you. Right? You hex yourself. Is money just our energy being used and not cotton/paper, which the masses think is a medium of exchange? Does it cost anything to do the noble thing or uplift another? Now, depending on who you're dealing with, the medium of exchange could be whatever. So, the medium of exchange for Brother Omar coming to pick me up at my house is between him and Allah, because I don't give him nothing. Like, there's no exchange with me and him, but he obviously gets something to let him do what it is that he's doing as far as, you know, the compensation. There's something that he's getting, right? Like with Moors who say, who's gonna come do a lecture? Like, I don't do lecture fees. If I'm gonna make fiat off of whatever, it's because I brought something to exchange, right? Like, it's not, give me 5,000 and I'm bringing stuff and I'm gonna sell everything and then I'm going home with 5,000 plus everything that I sold. Like, morally, that's not gonna ride with me personally. There's other people that might be the lane that they're in, but you know what I mean. The transfer or the compensation, the medium of exchange is going to be based on who it is that you're dealing with. There's some places where you might want to give the fiat because you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So if this guy says, you know, $30 for a plate or whatever, and it's worth that, then, you know, maybe you might, you know, maybe that might be what it is. You know what I mean? And spending that 30 would have been beneficial to you to do that. Does it cost anything to do the noble thing to uplift another? The fact that the other person is being uplifted should be what it is. It's like some Sister Selket sent a video. If you see the video of the brothers who do the mock, they might be like mock homeless or whatever, right? So dude went to a homeless dude that was eating a pizza, sat down next to him, you know what I mean, started complaining about how hungry or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Asked the bum, you know, yo, could I get, you know, a slice of pizza or whatever like that? Bum's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, shit, we're homeless together and shit like that, you know what I mean? So, you know, these men ate their pizza or whatever like that, and then when the thing was done, dude went in his pocket, yeah, you know, we're just doing social experiment, bam, gave the dude like $1,000 or something like that, homeless dude, right? Because the whole theme of it was something like he couldn't get nobody to give him food or whatever all day, but the homeless guy who had nothing, gave up slice of his pizza to this dude. But they're out there and nobody's hitting them off with nothing. Everybody's passing, oh, I ain't giving you nothing and all that stuff. Homeless guy. Right? So, it doesn't cost nothing to do the noble thing. But trust me, you're gonna get compensation for it. It might not come right there, but trust you're gonna get compensated once you're acting, living, whatever, the quote-unquote noble life. Right? Once we're living the noble life, which starts with making sure that the principles are being adhered to. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice at all costs before anything. Nothing comes before them 5 principles. Right? And then nothing comes before those 5 principles, because those 5 principles go back to those 5 points on the star on your flag that's 10,000 years old. Some wars will say 50,000 years old. So you got 50,000 years of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being the standard for us to follow. Yeah,
well, another thing with people and with the fiat, the debt notes, they like to hoard it, like keep it in the bank,
right.
Or
yeah.
I'm not saying you can't save something for a rainy day, but I mean, like, there's some wars, conscious or unconscious, they be saving thousands and millions of debt notes, and realistically, I watched this video when the Soviet Union, when they dismantled, and then every whatever became their own nation,
took everybody.
They had the Soviet Union money in pile of mountains. People with wheelbarrow bringing in the fiat, dumping in the square to burn it, because the fiat was worthless now, because the Soviet Union nation was so-called
no more.
No more. And just like you can see with the Canadian fiat, or so-called whatever, it's going down, because the other day I sent $300 to the U.S., Western Union, it cost me $400.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
You know stuff's bad.
So
that's not even paper, it's plastic.
Yeah, it's like you can't burn it.
You can't burn it.
Some fire
Melt the money.
So people got to realize that trying to hoard the fiat debt notes is not the best thing. You might as well use it to its capacity.
Do something with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't use it, you're
going
to lose it.
Don't
use it, you're going to lose it. And then make sure that you're not playing you're the man and stuff like that, and get property only for yourself. Look out for everybody, because as soon as you get it, trust me, these people are coming to get their stuff. You think that you're hype because you did some whatever. Trust me, if you have no backing as far as people behind you to hold that stuff up, trust you're going to lose everything. Which is why it comes in, just like what you're saying, with all these hoarders, these fiat hoarders. You know what I mean? Don't hoard the fiat. You got people out here that could use that to do some stuff, opposed to you just sitting on it just because. You know what I'm saying? Give it to the ones that's doing something, let them do something with it. You know what I mean? Get yourself a plaque on the building or something like that for the fiat that you gave. You know what I mean? Like, cause you check everybody else, that's how they do it. You know what I mean? The number, whatever national of whatever nation that has the finance that supported that school, trust he got a plaque on the building.
Or the school's in his name.
Or the school's in his name, or whatever. But you know, they're looking out for their nation, so it's gonna be like that. Whereas with us, you know what I mean? Like, it's always an issue. So eventually we'll get there. You know what I mean? It's still that uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? But recognize that you know, certain steps can be made for us to make sure that we have something for posterity, so a little man could have something, you know what I mean? So other children could have something that's theirs. That's not something that we got somebody gave us something, or somebody whatever like that, because we made it. That's why we have it. And once we have that mindset, again, the Moor took it on himself to go set up the credit union for the Moors. Not an individual thing for him or his crew or his temple or whatever. He looked at Moors globally. He saw Moorish credit unions everywhere in the world where there's a Moorish Science Temple, where there's members of the Moorish Science Temple. That was his vision to creating the credit union. So that should be Moore's vision with regard to whatever it is that we're dealing with. You know what I mean? You know, and one closing point that use how other Moors look at this jurisdiction as how you should look at it. Right? We got Canaanland Moors barbecue August 27th at Hyde Park. There's not only Moors from Canaanland coming to the barbecue. There's Moors that aren't even from here that's coming to the barbecue. So that should speak volumes to the Moors who are here. Especially the Moors who are here that don't support or half support or don't show their full 100, you know what I mean? Right? Because even Brother Rennie's coming from Hamilton. Right? To make sure that, you know what I mean, he's showing some type of allegiance to what's good. And then you have other people who are out here, who were from here, that now they went out there, they got charter from Dirty Moors and stuff like that. Now they're claiming that we're the #1 temple out here and all this stuff. 7 years later. Track record should let you know these people are fraud. If they only been around a year, we've been around 7, and prior to us there was nobody here talking about Moors. Like, yeah. But, you know, who don't hear will feel. Trust that.
Everybody, they want the fame and nobility.
That's all it is. Right? And again, we'll put it out there again. It's because majority of these so-called leaders, Moorish leaders, black leaders, whatever like that, these people were losers when they were children. And this is the only way that they can be somebody. They don't have the intellectual fortitude to create something for themselves. They have to leech. Right? They have to take the position of, you know, not give credit where credit is due, but want all the credit for themselves. Right? Again, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice should be practiced at all times with Moors. And Moors will tell you that Facebook Cujo and Cujo on the phone is 2 different Cujos. So don't get caught up or whatever like that because you heard some stuff and you see he told somebody F them and all that stuff on Facebook. That's real.
Sometimes they need that.
Sometimes they need it. Most times they need that. And trust me, I got it to give it to you. Because I ain't one of them Moors out there that's going to be playing around like we can't wear baseball hats and we can't wear jeans and we have to wear feathers all the time, bow ties and stuff like that. Forget all that BS. This is birthrights. Right? So Islam to everybody for being here. We'll just close out with the prayer. Islam to the Moors online. I don't know. I think we had on between 7 and 10 or something. So we'll just close out 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through His holy prophet.
Through His holy prophet.
Noble Juali.
Noble Juali.
Islam.
Islam.
Ashe. Sleepy boy. Why? Sleep today, boy.
And I know what time it is.
Yo, me too, bro. Yeah. Iron. Sheep. Moorish Master MC. Hey, yo. What up? What up? You already know. Audio mechanics, what up? Yo. No need for a watch. I read the time in the signs like prophets and seers. Put a hex on the beers. Put some wicker on Leopold and Mussolini offspring. To the ancestors, spill their blood as my offering. Oshuno Lacunia may I show me reflections in water like balls of crystal. Walls with penis missiles. Sun gaze and see gods peeping from behind. I'm learning to love instead of hate and be kind, cause